Chapter 1121, Lu Rui's Breakthrough, Preparing for Core Formation. The Lu family's young had long harbored thoughts of expanding their business, but were consistently held back by Lu Changxing. Now that the children had gradually matured, Lu Changxing felt at ease letting them venture out. Furthermore, forming a business association to expand the business would bring many conveniences and benefits to the family. The daughter understands. Upon hearing this, Lu Rui immediately grasped her father's intentions. In fact, in her view, with their current strength, their business should have been spread to the 3 great immortal cities long ago. After settling Lu Rui, Lu Changxing returned to his cave mansion and sat cross-legged with closed eyes. Previously, he had cleansed Lu Rui's spirit with music mastery, assisting in her breakthrough. Moreover, forcefully exerting divine skills and yin-yang creation captures, employing yin-yang source to help his daughter coalesce her Tao foundation, all these had cost him not a little. Time flew by swiftly, and in the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. During this period, Lu Changxing fathered 2 more children, and 3 were born. However, one had a middle-grade spiritual root, one a low quality, and one was without a spiritual root, making Lu Changxing shake his head slightly. He decided that in the future, if he were to take in more concubines or maids, he would only consider those with high-quality spiritual root or foundation establishment cultivators. By doing so, he could significantly raise the lower limit. In these times, Bai Lake Mountain was very stable. The spirit vein in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven had been cultivated to a second-order superior grade, and was growing towards the second-tier top level. It was estimated that in a year at most, the spirit vein would reach the second-tier top level. However, during these times, the situation in Azure Phoenix Immortal City had become increasingly chaotic. The departure of a large number of loose cultivators ultimately affected the Qinyan region, leading to a higher frequency of robber cultivator incidents. Recently, the Red Leaf Valley Market also suffered a looting. However, Lu Miaoga and 3 foundation establishment cultivators from Qingzhou Mountain arrived promptly at the first sign of trouble, suppressing the robber cultivators' disturbance. This incident caused quite a stir. Everyone knew that Qingzhou Mountain and Bai Lake Mountain were like branches of the same tree. Now, it was clear that Bai Lake Mountain had 7 foundation establishment cultivators in the open. Mountain Lord Lu Changxing and his wife Lu Miaoga cultivated the dual cultivation technique together, and their combat power was comparable to that of a false core immortal. Under such circumstances, it was astonishing that the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain also had 3 foundation-building great cultivators, unbeknownst to all. Many family forces suspected that aside from the foundation establishment cultivators known to all, Bai Lake Mountain might still be hiding their true power. Currently, the biggest local force, Golden Dragon Ridge, due to its false core patriarch being slain by a heretic cultivator and the new false core patriarch Jin Zan gradually consolidating the Jin family's territory, caused other family forces to fear Bai Lake Mountain far more than Golden Dragon Ridge. After all, the Jin family acted overbearingly and was now severely damaged in vital energy, and in need of recuperation. The Lu family seemed harmless and uninvolved in anything, but their growth rate was astonishingly fast. This made Lu Changxing realize that if his family were to establish a business association and expand the business, they would inevitably encounter great resistance. One day, Lu Changxing received a letter from Li Feiyu. The letter indicated that he was fine, and Lu Changxing needn't worry, but the current situation in Azure Phoenix Immortal City was a bit tense, advising Lu Changxing not to visit Azure Phoenix Immortal City if unnecessary. Sigh, a storm is coming to the building. Lu Changxing shook his head, knowing that Azure Phoenix Immortal City was likely going to descend into chaos. Li Feiyu chose not to leave Azure Phoenix Immortal City, hoping to seize opportunities amidst the chaos. After all, chaos serves as a ladder to ascend the social hierarchy for loose cultivators. Despite the incredible dangers, they would still choose to gamble and fight. Regarding his good brother's choice, Lu Changxing could only wish for him to take good care of himself. He replied to the letter, stating that if there were any troubles or matters, he was welcome to come to Bai Lake Mountain at any time. A year and a half later. In Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, Changxing Hall. Lu Changxing was seated cross-legged, and within the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus in his second dantian, the 36th yin-yang primordial pill was condensing. The accommodating characteristics of this second dantian significantly accelerated the speed at which he condensed the primordial pills. Therefore, relying on dual cultivation, pill consumption, and his children's enhancements, he reached great success with this secret technique in just over 2 years. Boom, 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 the 36 yin-yang primordial pills circulating between his second dantian and the primordial pills in his chi ocean core resonated with each other, creating a curious symphony that made his elixir lake boil and roar. A surge of tumultuous mana raced and surged as if it intended to expand Lu Changsheng's body. However, Lu Changsheng's body emanated treasure light and the aura of his third-tier physique pervaded, easily suppressing this mana. What's happening? Lu Changsheng felt a certain heaviness and tension throughout his body. Even with this second dantian, he could not further refine his mana by even a fraction. Originally, he had thought of continuously condensing yin-yang primordial pills by taking advantage of the characteristics of the second dantian. But now, 36 yin-yang primordial pills had already made him feel at his limit. It seemed that condensing another primordial pill would unbalance the yin-yang primordial pills in the 2 dantians. His chi ocean core simply could not bear this power. The yin-yang primordial pill method is about compressing and refining a portion of one's cultivation and magical power in the form of nascent soul in the chi ocean core, simulating core formation when one's cultivation can no longer advance. To condense 36 yin-yang primordial pills is already the upper limit for most talented cultivators. Without this second dantian, even if I wanted to continue condensing, it would be extremely difficult, and I could at most condense about 9 more. Moreover, this second dantian is not a true chi ocean core after all. Although it can hold nascent soul magical power, it is still closely related to my current cultivation realm. Therefore, 72 yin-yang primordial pills are already my limit, or rather, the limit of this realm, Lu Changsheng murmured to himself, roughly understanding the situation. A cultivator's meridians, chi ocean core, and elixir lake all have an upper limit of capacity. Chapter 1122, Lu Rui's Breakthrough, Preparing for Core Formation. To enhance the limit, one must either upgrade the foundation or the realm. Undoubtedly, my foundation is formidable. But raising the foundation any further is too difficult. As for the realm, it has already reached a point where progress is impossible. Under such circumstances, being able to condense 72 yin-yang primordial pills is the utmost limit for this realm. Since that's the case, then, core formation. Lu Changsheng stood up, his eyes bright and spirited. The spirit vein in Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven has been nourished to the extreme of the 2nd rank. While the spiritual vein origin has not yet been depleted and can continue to be nurtured, further promotion is impossible. So under these circumstances, there's no need to wait any longer. The only regret during these 3 years is that despite having children, none possessed innate talent exceptional enough to enhance the spiritual root. Sister Miaoga. Lu Changsheng went to the next cave mansion to find Lu Miaoga. He informed her of his plans for core formation and needed her assistance. The Sun-Moon Samsara technique he cultivated with Lu Miaoga has achieved small success, and this cultivation technique assists somewhat with core formation. Furthermore, during his core formation, the Tai Dao seed within Lu Miaoga could serve as a top-tier core formation spiritual object. Core formation. Even though Lu Miaoga was long aware of Lu Changsheng's cultivation level, she was still somewhat dazed to hear these words. Once he undergoes core formation, it signifies stepping into the ranks of high-rank cultivators. From then on, one can enjoy a lifespan of 500 years and be called a nascent soul immortal. For the early years of her life, core formation was a level she dared not even dream of. Even now, knowing that core formation was not so out of reach, her heart still had a dense filter. So now, hearing Lu Changsheng was prepared to challenge core formation, she couldn't help but feel dazed, joyous, and excited. Changsheng, are you ready? Are you confident? Lu Miaoga always had great trust in Lu Changsheng, but she couldn't help but worry at this moment. Compared to foundation establishment, the difficulty of core formation was countless times greater. During the foundation establishment stage, many loose cultivators managed breakthroughs. However, those who achieve core formation as loose cultivators can be counted on one's fingers. not to mention anything else. In the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, there are countless foundation establishment families, but only 3 nascent soul noble families. It's okay. The probability of core formation is 100%, and the odds of forming a golden core, 98%. Lu Changxing looked at his wife's pure and beautiful face, the concern in his eyes making his heart surge warmly, and he chuckled softly. His calm speech was filled with ease and confidence. Great, Lu Miaoge replied softly with a smile, her voice gentle as water. She then asked if they should call Lu Pingan back to prevent anybody from causing trouble on Bai Lake Mountain during this period. After all, once Lu Changxing started the core formation, Bai Lake Mountain's family great formation would be significantly weakened, barely maintaining operation. If an enemy were to attack at such a time, it must be resolved quickly. Other than Lu Changxing, the strongest in the Lu family is Lu Pingan, who is at the late stage, 2nd rank of body refinement. As long as there's no attack from a nascent soul immortal, there shouldn't be any significant problems. Lu Changxing said, holding his wife's tender hand and smiling. Currently, our family doesn't have any major enemies. The only potential major enemy is the beast-taming Su family. Unless the elder ancestor of the Su family attacks, our family without the great formation is still as solid as a bastion. And if the elder ancestor of the Su family really comes, we can just shake him off. Emichim. Lu Miaoge, now like a nurturing mother, asked if there was anything else Lu Changxing needed to prepare, pondering whether there was anything lacking for the crucial matter of core formation. I need to make a trip to Qingyun sect, and need to call Shiyu to help. Lu Changxing spoke, asking Lu Miaoge to make arrangements at home. He has the dragon roar physique, but he cultivates the way of yin and yang. When challenging core formation, there might be some impact. Xiao Xia possesses the moonlight spirit body, so if an accident does occur, she can help through the sun-moon samsara technique. Moreover, when he broke through to foundation establishment, his Dao foundation merged with Xiao Xia's lunar moonlight essence. During the core formation, if she assists, there may be benefits. Anyway, having come this far, Lu Changxing naturally considered everything carefully. Alright, Changxing, be careful on your way. I'll handle everything at home. Lu Miaoge replied softly, then went to find Ling Zixiao to discuss the matter. She explained that Lu Changxing was preparing for core formation and asked her to be ready to set up the gathering spirit and spirit burning arrays in advance. If during the breakthrough process, there's an insufficient supply of spiritual energy, they will directly burn the family's spiritual vein origin. Core formation. Is Lord finally going to undergo core formation? A hint of surprise appeared on the elegant and dignified visage of Ling Zixiao. She and Lu Miaoge always knew of Lu Changxing's cultivation level. They also knew that Lu Changxing's recent trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range to intercept the spiritual vein origin was in preparation for core formation. But at this very moment, hearing that Lu Changxing was about to challenge core formation, she couldn't help but feel emotional. Lord is only about 70 years old, right? Ling Zixiao spoke softly. She still remembered meeting Lu Changxing over 30 years ago. Back then, his cultivation was only at the 2nd level of foundation establishment. But now, over 30 years have passed, and he is about to challenge core formation. Emichim, Changxing is 75 this year, Lu Miaoge replied softly. In the cultivation world, challenging core formation before the age of 100 is considered a genius. And this notion stems from the true inheritors of immortal sects. Because apart from the true inheritors of immortal sects, it's almost impossible for loose cultivators and members of cultivating families to challenge core formation before the age of 100. Like the great elder Jin Zan of the Jin family, at the age of 120 and at the 9th level of foundation establishment, was expected to challenge core formation, already considered a genius. Could Lord be a true immortal reincarnated? Ling Zixiao said with considerable emotion. Her words were not merely an exclamation over the speed of Lu Changxing's cultivation. Rather, she was reflecting on the countless surprises and superhuman performances Lu Changxing had given them over the decades. As the individuals closest to Lu Changxing, they witnessed too many inexplicable events. Chapter 1123, Lu Rui's Breakthrough. preparing for core formation. Underscore 4 However, there are many things Lu Changxing wouldn't say, and they wouldn't inquire too much. This is not important, all I know is that Changxing is my husband. Lu Miaoge said with a demeanor gentle as water. She then found Bai Ling, Xia Zizhu, Li Xingrua, and Li Xingyu, and asked them to refrain from cultivating for the coming days. As for the energy refining cultivators from the family, they were not reminded. Right after, Lu Miaoge directly ordered Lu Miaoyan to lock down the mountain, her sister Lu Miaohuan and Bai Ling to oversee the sect gate, forbidding anyone from entering or leaving at will. Meanwhile, Lu Changxing had arrived at the gates of Qingyun sect. Buzz. Lu Changxing took out the Yinyang sensing talisman he had with Xiao Xie. Half an hour later, a white escape light flew out from the gates. Changxing. Xiao Xie, in a moon-white dress, her face cool and holy, her demeanor noble and otherworldly, as though she were the bright moon of the 9 heavens. Shiyu, I am preparing for core formation and need your assistance, Lu Changxing directly communicated to Xiao Xie through a transmission. What? Xiao Xie's expression was moved, and she was extremely surprised. She didn't expect Lu Changxing to attempt core formation so soon. At once, she and Lu Changxing turned into an escape light and left. Isn't that Mountain Lord Lu Changxing of Bihu Mountain? I wonder what matter he has to seek the help of Uncle Master Xiao. That Mountain Lord Lu has truly extraordinary charisma to have such a close relationship with Uncle Master Shiyu. Keep your voice down, if the people from the enforcement hall hear this, you're going to be in trouble. At the gate, several stationed disciples of Qingyun sect saw this and discussed in low voices. Lu Changsheng's frequent visits to Qingyun sect to see Xiao Xie were no longer a secret. Especially since Lu Changxing often went to Kaiyun Peak, and even caused some disciples to murmur guesses about their relationship behind their backs. However, when Xiao Xie's master, Kaiyun True Immortal, became aware of this, he had the enforcement hall punish all those who speculated, and thus no one in Qingyun sect dared to gossip about it anymore. Furthermore, Kaiyun Peak also announced that Xiao Xie invited Lu Changxing over for alchemy and talisman making. After all, besides being famous for his charisma, the Mountain Lord of Bihu Mountain also had the reputation of being peerless in both pills and talismans. Many family forces built good relations with Bihu Mountain also because of this reputation, often seeking to purchase elixir medicines and talismans from them. Changxing, you're preparing for core formation, but are you fully prepared? On the spirit boat, Xiao Xie stood with an elegant and poised figure, inquiring with concern to Lu Changxing. She knew that Lu Changxing's cultivation level was far beyond her own. But she didn't expect him to be ready for core formation so soon. After all, breaking through from foundation establishment to core formation is not merely a matter of reaching the peak of foundation establishment, it requires a lot of preparation. Without the coagulation crystal elixir and core formation spiritual objects, unless one has a heavenly spiritual root, it's difficult for those with earth spirit roots to be fully confident. The risks of core formation are not any less than those of foundation establishment and could be even more dangerous. One slip could lead to death and complete destruction of one's Tao foundation. This is why countless people yearn for a coagulation crystal elixir. Because its effects are similar to those of the foundation establishment elixir. It not only increases the chances of core formation, but also stabilizes the channels, Dantian, and Tao foundation in case of core formation failure. To reach the peak of foundation establishment with hopes to attempt core formation, one is considered to be a notable person in their own right. At this point, naturally, no one dares to risk their life by relying on just a couple of spiritual objects for preparation, as they did at the peak of qi refining. They would want to make all the necessary preparations. But coagulation crystal elixir is an extremely rare strategic resource. Even the 4 great immortal sects find it precious, and the elixir is hard to come by. The difficulty of purchasing one is many times that of acquiring a foundation establishment elixir. Besides coagulation crystal elixir, attempting core formation also requires a 3rd-rank spirit vein cave dwelling. Although one could go to the Immortal City for a breakthrough. Without some connections or referrals, Immortal City generally does not lease such high-level cave dwellings. So when Lu Changxing said he was going to attempt core formation, it seemed too sudden for Xiao Xie. Since I have come, naturally, I am fully prepared. Lu Changxing said with a light laugh, holding Xiao Xie's somewhat cold jade hand. The spirit vein in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven has already been cultivated to a top-grade second order. Then, with the spiritual eye spring, heavenly origin precious lotus, and the second-order top-grade spiritual vein from Bihu Mountain, I have also cultivated a nascent soul secret technique on my own, which can lower the demand for spiritual energy during core formation, so spiritual energy is not a problem. Moreover, I obtained a coagulation crystal elixir by chance in my early years, and over the years, I've also collected a few core formation spiritual objects, so the preparations are quite complete. Lu Changxing gently reassured Xiao Xie, indicating that she didn't need to worry. His visit was mainly due to the possibility of unforeseen accidents during core formation. He reminded her that their Dao platforms had integrated Xiao Xie's lunar moonlight essence, which would be somewhat helpful during core formation when they used the sun-moon samsara technique. All right. Upon hearing Lu Changsheng's words, Xiao Xie felt relieved and couldn't help but marvel at his fortune. She remembered the 50-year pact set by her master with her and Lu Changxing, for them to break through to core formation within 50 years. Even though she believed that Lu Changxing would definitely manage to break through within 50 years, she never imagined that just over 20 years had passed, and Lu Changxing was already preparing for core formation. This also caused her to feel a sense of urgency, and she harbored some concerns. Shiyu, don't worry. Once I break through to core formation, I will surely resolve your issue and help you reach core formation as soon as possible. Lu Changxing squeezed her soft hand and spoke to her softly. Xiao Xie nodded slightly, and the two arrived at Bihu Mountain. Chapter 1124, Core Formation. Core Formation. Core Formation. After returning to Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Changxing and Xiao Xie didn't immediately begin core formation. Instead, they first relaxed and eased their minds. Meanwhile, they waited for Ling Zixiao to properly set up the formation. Changxing, Wang Shu is no longer a child. When do you plan to let her break through to foundation establishment? Xiao Xie asked with concern after visiting their daughter with Lu Changxing. Though playful in her youth, their daughter was bathed in heavenly and earthly treasures since childhood to temper her physical body. She also cultivated the 99 mystical talisman scripture, which perfectly matched her blood talisman spiritual body. Her cultivation speed wasn't inferior to those with top-grade spiritual roots. She had been stuck at the peak of qi refining for 7 or 8 years, which left even her mother anxious. Wang Shu has almost fully grasped the 99 mystical talisman scripture. Once I break through to core formation, she can begin preparing for foundation establishment. Lu Changxing held Xiao Xie's jade hand and spoke softly. His expectations for his daughter, Lu Wangshu, were distinct from his other children. With Lu Wangshu's current foundation, she had a high chance of condensing a perfect Dao foundation. But Lu Changxing figured that after his own breakthrough in core formation, the effect of the yin-yang energies would rise to the next level. At that time, he could act as a top-tier foundation establishment spiritual object and elevate his daughter's Dao foundation even further. Xiao Xie softly agreed. She knew that Lu Changxing doted on his daughter greatly, doing what was best for her. 3 months later. In Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, within Changxing Hall. Lu Changxing sat cross-legged, surrounded by Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, Xiao Xie, and the ancient beast taming charm. There is a special understanding for the foundation establishment and naturally, core formation as well. Even though Lu Changxing had consulted with Hong Lian about knowledge on foundation establishment and core formation, there was nothing so direct and simple as having a nascent soul old lady as a protector online. At this moment, Lu Changxing took out his core formation items. Supreme Condensation Elixir. Top-grade core formation spiritual object, 5 elements fruit. Core formation spiritual object, heavenly fire lioli. Core formation spiritual object, profound water cold crystal. Core formation spiritual object, fire marrow date. Core formation spiritual object, pure clean water. Sister Miaoge, Shiyu, Zi Shao. Lu Changsheng gazed at the three women, his handsome face serene and composed. For 90% of foundation establishment peak cultivators, core formation is perilous. But Lu Changsheng had full confidence, without a hint of nervousness. Changsheng, you will surely succeed. The three women were even more nervous and anxious than Lu Changsheng. Rest assured. Lu Changsheng nodded gently and closed his eyes. He didn't operate his cultivation technique immediately but simply sat in meditation to regulate his breath. Cultivators always regain calmness and dispel distracting thoughts, restoring their essence, qi, and spirit to their peak before a breakthrough. Since awakening my memory in Qingyun sect, it has been 57 years since I began my spiritual practice. From a farm boy, the son-in-law of Qingzhou Mountain, I've become the renowned master of Bai Lake Mountain. In these 57 years, I have worked tirelessly, never slackening. I married 7 wives, took 49 concubines, 11 maids, 3 Dao companions, and even formed connections with 2 nascent soul immortals, siring 267 children. All these past memories surged in Lu Changsheng's mind. The system is important, but my relentless effort is what truly matters. Without such diligence, even with the system and peerless talent, I'd be but a salted fish. My heart is set on the Tao, such a trifling core formation is nothing but a flick. Lu Changsheng, thinking of all he achieved through his own effort, felt his heroic spirit soar to the heavens. Sister Miaoga. He suddenly opened his eyes, looking over to Lu Miaoga. The three women were surprised that Lu Changsheng could adjust his state so quickly. It could only be said that Lu Changsheng's profound foundation was truly astonishing. Third-order body refining, nascent soul divine sense, perfect Tao foundation, robust roots, no real need for much adjustment. Lu Miaoga looked at the man in front of her, with skin as white as jade, transcendently handsome, eyes bright and full of ease and confidence, and gently nodded her head. Without shyness, she slipped off her white bamboo silk clothes. Her flawless body, snowy and smooth skin, silky shoulders, and graceful curves looked like a divinely exquisite piece of art, dazzlingly beautiful and radiant. Soon after, tender eyes full of warmth and affection met with his dark, profound, vivid eyes. They embraced each other, bodies intertwined, the cycle of the sun and moon progressed, and within the cave mansion, they played a beautiful harmony of life. Humming, spirit and flesh, body and heart continuously merged, indistinguishable from each other. Forget about emotions in tranquility, all things are emptiness, the soul of the sun, the shadow of the moon, a thought of purity, heaven and earth are one and the same. After some time, they operated the sun-moon samsara technique, with the sun and moon rising, gradually tranquilizing their Tao hearts. In the great void, an invisible cauldron gradually formed, burning the sun and moon, transforming them into a pool of jade liquid. This was the effect of the sun-moon samsara technique. Condensing primordial yin and primordial yang, converting mana into a pool of pure jade essence to aid one in a breakthrough. Lu Miaoga operated the sun-moon samsara technique with all her might, pouring all her mana into this pool of jade liquid. Afterward, she gently moved this invisible cauldron, merging it into Lu Changsheng's qi ocean core. Boom! Lu Changsheng's body trembled, feeling as though soaked in a hot spring, with a stream of pure and rich essence of the sun and the moon nurturing every inch of his flesh and skin. Simultaneously, Lu Miaoga's Tao foundation bloomed with magnificent light. The Tai Tao seed from the superior Tao foundation flowed along the meridians, slowly moving into Lu Changsheng's body. Rumbling. As soon as the Tai Tao seed entered Lu Changsheng's qi ocean core, it instantly bathed his Tao foundation in splendid light, the mana in his elixir lake boiling, stirring up surging waves against the qi ocean core. Humming. The yin-yang creation scripture began to operate on its own, with the 36 yin-yang primordial pills in the qi ocean core and the 36 in the second dantian vibrating in unison. There was no capricious surge of emotions from heavenly Tao Jia Dan, just inexplicable throbbing. Chapter 1125, Core Formation. Core Formation. Core Formation. His cultivation technique was like the heavenly Tao Jia Dan, proactively assaulting the realm. Sister Miaoga, you take a good rest. Lu Changxing opened his eyes and spoke to the pale and weak Lu Miaoga, whose cheeks were red as peach blossoms, nestled in his arms. At this moment, his realm could no longer be contained. Raising his hand, he consumed the prepared coagulation crystal elixir. Boom! Upon entering his stomach, the coagulation crystal elixir transformed into a majestic medicinal power that surged into his limbs and bones, causing the Qi ocean core within Lu Changxing to roar once again, unleashing wave-like sounds akin to tsunamis. Muscles emitted a treasured light, as the aura of a third-tier physique began to awaken. The elixir lake, flowing with yin-yang magic power, surged with endless divine brilliance, mysterious and splendid, accompanied by faint hints of Taoist chants. This was the sound of the yin-yang creation classic's autonomous operation, and if there were any cultivators of the way of yin and yang present, they could have gleaned enlightenment from these sounds. This, Lu Miaoga, Xiao Xia, and Ling Zixiao all stared at Lu Changxing, dumbfounded and speechless with amazement. It was incredible, this foundation establishment challenging core formation, with such a miraculous scene yet to begin, was truly unheard of. A tsunami that connects heavens, roaring waves and a zen-like Taoist chant, what formidable foundations are these? Not just them, even the ancient beast-taming charms Hong Lian was slightly shocked. As a nascent soul-true monarch, she had seen countless prodigies, being a top-tier prodigy herself. Yet even so, faced with such a spectacle of Lu Changxing's core formation, she couldn't help her astonishment. Boom boom boom, Lu Changxing sat in meditation, unmovable, as his qi, blood and magical power boiled and roared, like the heavenly river breaching its banks, thundering incessantly. Core formation and foundation establishment share similarities, including the 3 steps of essence, qi, and spirit. Now at the first step, the qi and blood. The qi of Mount Sumeru cave heaven thick and rich as if rain, nature's spiritual energy surged towards Lu Changxing. The spiritual energy within the cave had been gathered in advance, pure and vast, reaching the caliber of third-rank spiritual energy. Against such pure and tumultuous nature's spiritual energy, Lu Changxing's body glowed brilliantly, with a dignified aura, immovable as a divine mountain. Third-order body refining, steadfast as a sacred mountain. The nature's spiritual energy along with the sun-moon cauldron, merged with the medicinal power of the coagulation crystal elixir, forming a mist-like liquid mana. At that moment, Lu Changxing felt a warm current surging through his body, flowing through all his limbs and bones, nurturing his physical body. The flawless heavenly fragrance body. This spiritual body not only prolongs life after breakthroughs. During a breakthrough, it also purifies the flesh and clarifies the physical body, which has a supportive effect on the breakthrough core. Simultaneously, a fierce and rolling aura roared around Lu Changxing, allowing his Thunder Gang dragon flame to seep out unconsciously. The dragon roar physique. The entire spirit body, as Lu Changxing surmised, also aids in the core formation. Roar roar roar. The intense and mighty Thunder Gang dragon flame caused the temperature in the cave mansion to rise significantly. If it weren't for the power of the cave heaven of Mount Sumeru protecting Lu Miaoga, Xiao Xia, and Ling Zixiao, at this very moment, with such a domineering aura from Lu Changxing, the 3 ladies could hardly bear it. Such a terrifying flame, it's the heavenly spiritual fire. Lu Miaoga and the others watched as flames surged around Lu Changxing's body, their expressions filled with astonishment and disbelief. Even with the protection of Mount Sumeru, they felt it was extraordinarily incredible. As though this fire could easily burn them to ashes, it imparted a strong sense of oppression. At this moment, Ling Zixiao sensed a very familiar aura within Lu Changxing's body. The dragon roar physique. Previously, she had sensed the aura of dragon roar origin from Lu Changxing. Assuming it was because Lu Changxing had plundered her dragon roar origin. But at this moment, she could clearly sense that Lu Changxing's dragon roar physique was very complete and not inferior to her own. Dragon roar physique, flawless heavenly fragrance body. How? How could someone possess 2 top-level spiritual bodies in one body? Even Hong Lian within the ancient beast-taming charm was incredibly shocked. She had always thought Lu Changxing was of the Dragon Emperor body. But now, Seeing the two mysterious auras emanating from Lu Changsheng, she was totally stunned, somewhat bewildered. It's not that the cultivation world never had someone with dual-spirited bodies. But such a case was extremely rare. Even if a child inherited both parents' spirited bodies, throughout the pregnancy, it was highly probable the two would fuse, forming a new spirited body, rather than remaining separate. The only possibility for this situation was for someone to have cultivated an acquired spirit body. To cultivate an acquired spirit body is as difficult as ascending to the heavens, especially with such top-tier spirited bodies. And I've never heard of these two bodies being cultivated later in life. Hong Lian looked at Lu Changsheng, who looked as dignified as a deity, full of doubts in her heart. Could it be, the young master is the legendary myriad spirit's physique? At this moment, she recalled a body mentioned in ancient texts. The owner of this physique could plunder others' spirit body origins for themselves, very powerful and domineering. However, even she had only read about such a body in ancient tomes and was unclear about the specifics. If the young master is indeed a myriad spirit's physique, then what about the Dragon Emperor body? Surely the myriad spirit's physique would not have merged with the Dragon Emperor body into one? Hong Lian suddenly felt her knowledge insufficient, no longer able to comprehend Lu Changsheng's situation. Such cultivation techniques, physique, and various opportunities. Could the young master be a reincarnation of a true immortal? Hong Lian looked at Lu Changsheng before her, her heart filled with immense shock. She felt that even a reincarnated great being, transformed into a true sovereign, couldn't explain Lu Changsheng's situation. However, regardless of what Lu Changsheng's situation was, she was more convinced than ever that following him was an extremely correct decision. As for the shock of the several ladies and Hong Lian's thoughts, Lu Changsheng was unaware and unconcerned. Chapter 1126, Core Formation. Core Formation. Core Formation. He was currently exerting his full strength to operate the Yin-Yang creation classic. What is Yin and Yang? From the two comes three, that is Yin and Yang. Yin and Yang resonate with each other, mutually confirming, giving rise to the birth of myriad things. Lu Changsheng's body shimmered with precious light, as surging and astonishing Yin-Yang magic power flowed out, interweaving in the heavens and earth, mysteriously brilliant, forming a Yin-Yang Taoist chart. Extremes of Yang embrace Yin, extremes of Yin embrace Yang, Yin and Yang rotating, as if enacting the transformation of all things, spiraling behind Lu Changsheng. Seated within the center of the Yin-Yang Taoist chart, the flow of precious light made Lu Changsheng's body appear sacred and majestic, ethereal and obscure, as if existing alongside the world, eternal and undying. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Nature's spiritual energy of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, under the guidance of the Mount Sumeru Tree King, flowed continuously and crazily into Changsheng Hall. Within the cave mansion, the spiritual energy at this moment was almost as viscous as water, ceaselessly refined by Lu Changsheng through the spiritual root, the Yin-Yang Taoist chart, pouring into the Qi ocean core. At this time, Lu Changsheng also began the second phase of core formation, law liquid crystallization. This phase has strict requirements for a cultivator's mana, the spiritual energy of the spirit vein, and the cultivator's divine sense. However, as Lu Changsheng's Yin-Yang creation classic operated, the mana in the Qi ocean dantian bubbled under the effects of the coagulation crystal elixir, the Tai Dao seed, and the refinement of the sun-moon cauldron, and in an instant, numerous mana particles crystallized into tiny crystal grains fine as sand. Core formation's third phase, pill condensing. Lu Changsheng's mental spirit calmed as he expanded his divine sense. The nascent soul divine sense began to encompass all crystalline particles, casting them into the sun-moon cauldron, condensing them into one. So heavy. The moment Lu Changsheng's divine sense came into contact with these crystal particles, he felt an invisible heaviness. Had his divine sense not been a match for that of a nascent soul immortal, he would have indeed struggled to control this power. Lu Changsheng knew, this was because his foundation was too vigorously powerful. One must possess the nascent soul divine sense to condense an immortal golden core. This was what Hong Lian had previously said to him. At the time, knowing he possessed the nascent soul divine sense, he didn't pay it much attention. But now, he deeply realized the significance of these words. Hum hum hum. The crystal grains entered the sun-moon cauldron, swirling continuously, absorbing the huge nature's spiritual energy. Simultaneously, 72 yin-yang primordial pills trembled, yin-yang energies flowing, pouring into the sun-moon cauldron. Lu Changsheng's eyes opened. With a raise of his hand, the 5 elements spirit fruit appeared. Directly consuming the spirit fruit in one bite, it transformed into a surge of pure and immense 5-colored medicinal power. The already turbulent sun-moon cauldron seemed nearly to burst at this moment. The mana in Lu Changsheng's meridians and dantian, like oil thrown onto fire, surged wildly, his body trembling. Had Lu Changsheng not possessed third-order body refining, an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator's physical body would not be able to withstand the impact of such vigorous magic power. Such a foundation is simply astonishing. This could well be a superior gold core upon initial formation. Hong Lian saw that Lu Changsheng had begun condensing the pill. She looked at the 4 remaining core formation spiritual objects before her and spoke, "Young master, with your condition, you don't need these 4 core formation spiritual objects. If you still need them, at the moment of your pill formation, I can use the secret ice fire refining golden elixir technique to quench your golden core with heavenly fire glaze and profound water cold crystal. If you continue using these fire marrow dates and clear water, it may actually be counterproductive." Hong Lian transmitted her voice to Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng's foundation was too robust. Under such circumstances, only top-tier core formation spiritual objects would suffice. Otherwise, regular core formation spiritual objects could negatively affect the quality of his core formation. Good. Lu Changsheng's handsome face showed neither joy nor sorrow as he softly responded, focusing wholeheartedly on operating his cultivation technique, allowing his divine sense to control the crystal grains. As the number of crystal grains increased, even Lu Changsheng gradually felt the strain. But the burden was still within his acceptable limits. Moreover, the medicinal power of the coagulation crystal elixir and a mild and exceptionally nourishing force from the sun-moon cauldron revitalized Lu Changsheng's soul and his purple mansion, easing his weariness. The young master's pill formation is extremely astonishing. Second-order top-grade spirit veins of the cave heaven may not be enough. You may want to activate the spirit gathering array ahead of time. Seeing Lu Changsheng's situation, Hong Lian spoke to Ling Zixiao and the others. Lu Changsheng's pill formation was tremendously astonishing, beyond her expectations. Therefore, to be safe, it was better to operate the great spirit gathering formation immediately, to prevent a lack of spiritual energy and thus affect the quality of core formation. Good. Upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao immediately activated the prepared Great Spirit Gathering Array and ordered Mount Sumeru to draw the spiritual energy of Bai Lake Mountain. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, at Blue Cloud Peak Summit, the Mount Sumeru Tree King, resembling golden jade, crystalline and translucent with rosy light shimmering, gently swayed. In an instant, the spiritual energy of Bai Lake Mountain surged towards the Mount Sumeru Tree King, forming a spiritual energy vortex at the summit. Even though Ling Zixiao had set up the inverted 5 elements great formation to conceal the situation of the Mount Sumeru Tree King, it still caused a small disturbance. What's going on? Is someone from the family breaking through to Foundation establishment? Who is it? Could it be Wang Shu breaking through to Foundation establishment? But this commotion seems to be a bit more intense than just Foundation establishment. Wang Shu should have broken through to Foundation establishment a long time ago. He's been deliberately condensing his foundation, so it's normal that the disturbance is bigger. Many Lu family disciples saw the commotion and immediately speculated that someone was establishing their foundation. After all, other than someone breaking through to Foundation establishment, they rarely witnessed such activity and the frenzied intake of nature's spiritual energy. Could it be that husband is beginning his core formation? Husband. On Lake Heart Island of Bai Lake Mountain, Lu Miaoyun and Lu Miaohuan saw this scene and realized it was their own husband undergoing core formation, their hearts feeling somewhat anxious. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Inside Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, a massive spiritual energy whirlpool formed, obscuring the skies, with wind and clouds surging. Chapter 1127, core formation. Core formation. Core formation. Underscore for the viscous spiritual energy of nature, like a column of water, continuously pours into Changxing Hall. The eye of the spiritual spring outside Changxing Hall is currently erupting with water in a frenzied gush. Inside Changxing Hall, Lu Changxing is seated within the yin-yang Taoist chart. Above his head flow the yin-yang energies, enveloping his surroundings, hazy and obscure, emitting a mystical and astonishing aura. As time trickles by, within the core of the sun-moon cauldron, a thumb-sized golden core, glowing with a purple-gold luster, is slowly taking shape as it spins. After passing the 3 gates of core formation, one must first consolidate an embryonic form of the inner core. Then, by guiding this inner core with divine sense, continuously refining, tempering, and compressing liquid mana, the inner core takes shape gradually, until it finally merges with the Tao platform, achieving the true elixir. This process is extremely dangerous. A single mistake can lead to the shattering of the core formation, breaking the Tao foundation, resulting in either death or injury. Insufficient foundation or lack of sustainability can also cause the core formation to crumble and impact the Tao foundation. If one's foundation is sufficient but their mentality is inadequate, being overly cautious throughout the process and only daring to maintain stability will affect the quality of the core formation. In addition to this, there is another very dangerous situation. During a breakthrough, all of a cultivator's inner worries, troubles, and guilt accumulate deep within and can erupt at such a time, possibly even forming a heart demon. This is also why many cultivators pursue enlightenment. However, for the heart demon of core formation, Lu Changxing is not worried. He is now in Mount Sumru Cave Heaven, which possesses the effect of calming the mind and spirit, suppressing heart demons. If the embryonic form is already a golden core, then let me see where the limit lies. Lu Changxing, looking at the embryonic form of the golden core in the sun-moon cauldron, remains serene in spirit. Without hesitation, his divine sense, sharp as a knife, enters this inner core, determined to control the newly formed yin-yang golden core to devour the surrounding nature's spiritual energy. Boom! As soon as Lu Changxing's divine sense enters the inner core, he feels the overwhelming rush of the origin qi of the golden core, which begins to transform his divine sense. Originally, Lu Changxing's divine sense could extend about 1,000 zhang. But at this very moment, nourished by the golden core origin, it rises at a visible speed. 1,100 zhang. 1,200 zhang. 1,300 zhang. Lu Changxing does not dwell on the improvement of his divine sense. He fully controls the yin-yang golden core, beginning to inhale and exhale spiritual energy, integrating all the medicinal power of the coagulation crystal elixir, Tai Dao seed, yin-yang primordial pill, and 5 elements spirit fruit into one. In a moment, the spiritual energy of the entire cave mansion solidifies almost to a gelatinous state, flowing like a tide into Lu Changxing's body. Senior Red Lotus, what is the current situation with Lord Lu? Ling Zixiao looks at Lu Changxing within the yin-yang Taoist chart, who resembles a divine being, and asks Red Lotus. Ordinarily, for cultivators breaking through core formation, their conditions could be roughly discerned by the nascent soul celestial phenomenon. But now, the celestial phenomenon is being disrupted by Mount Sumru, hence, they did not know the current state of Lu Changxing's core formation. The young master has just condensed the embryonic core formation, and this core is already comparable to a golden core. Once it becomes a pill, it will surely be an immortal golden core. Red Lotus' voice is ethereal and distant, speaking softly. An immortal golden core is indeed very astonishing. But seeing Lu Changxing's situation today, she is no longer the least bit surprised by an immortal golden core. To her, it's entirely normal for a true immortal reincarnate to condense an immortal golden core, right? Even if Lu Changxing were to converge a legendary Great Tao golden core, she wouldn't be surprised. Immortal golden core. Ling Zixiao and Lu Miaoga express elation in their eyes upon hearing this. Even though they knew their husband was extraordinary and most likely to form a superior gold core, Red Lotus words still bring a wave of joy to them. After all, even among the genuine inheritors of immortal sects within the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, the cultivators who can condense a superior gold core are few and far between. Not to mention the ultimate achievement of core formation, the immortal golden core. Immortal golden core. Xiaoxia looks toward Lu Changsheng, lightly purses her lips, fully aware of the significance behind these 4 words. Between a middle-grade true pill and a superior gold core lies an enormous chasm. Even her master and senior sister have only made it to half-step golden core, missing out on the true superior gold core. Yet Lu Changsheng has not only solidified a superior gold core but an immortal golden core as well, which is quite astonishing. Boom! 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 In the Qi Ocean core of Lu Changsheng, the embryonic golden core glows brilliantly within the sun-moon cauldron, continuously shaping itself. From all directions, spiritual energy, under the compression of Lu Changsheng's divine sense, forms droplets of liquid mana, dripping into the golden core. Crack! After an indeterminate amount of time, cracks suddenly appear in the sun-moon cauldron of Lu Changsheng's Qi Ocean core. The effect of the sun-moon samsara technique has reached its limit at this moment, unable to contain the power of Lu Changsheng's golden core any longer. Accompanied by a series of cracking sounds, the sun-moon cauldron completely shatters. A bright, flawlessly round immortal golden core emerges, radiating brilliant light. Buzz, dash, in an instant, infinite splendid golden light bursts from Lu Changsheng's body, as magnificent as a rainbow, illuminating with myriad halos, along with the vibrations of great Tao melodies. What's that? Lu Miaoge, looking somewhat pale and weak, gazes at Lu Changsheng with eyes filled with concern. Golden core charm, the melodies of the great Tao, Xiaoxia speaks softly. She has read about golden cores in the sex texts. Once someone condenses a superior gold core, celestial phenomena will appear between heaven and earth. When her senior sister Chu Qingyi formed her core, there were also manifestations of melodies of the Tao, leading many to speculate she had formed a superior gold core. It's so quick, shouldn't core formation take at least 100 days? Upon hearing this, Ling Zixiao expresses surprise and astonishment. From embryonic core formation to successful core formation, one needs to continuously solidify liquid mana, complete fusion, and unify the golden core with the Tao foundation. Chapter 1128, Core Formation. Core Formation. Core Formation. _5 This process requires at least 100 days to sustain. Otherwise, the foundation might be unstable, and imperfections may occur in the core formation. However, Lu Changsheng's situation, whether it be the 3 gates of core formation or the time taken for formation, is completely different from what she knows about core formation. No, the young master has always been condensing the golden core and has not begun the fusion with the Tao foundation, Hong Lian spoke softly. With her divine sense surpassing others, she could perceive Lu Changsheng's general condition through his yin-yang Taoist chart and the Thunder Gang dragon flame. What, he hasn't completed the fusion and has already achieved a high-quality golden core? Ling Zixiao exclaimed in surprise. To form a golden core without completing all the steps, such a foundation is truly terrifying. But thinking of Lu Changsheng's extraordinary actions over the years, it seemed normal, and nothing to be surprised about. The sun-moon samsara technique, Changsheng has been continuously refining the golden core inside the sun-moon cauldron. Lu Miaoge had just sensed the shattering of the sun-moon cauldron within Lu Changsheng and instantly understood what was happening. The sun-moon cauldron formed by the sun-moon samsara technique could help one refine nature's spiritual energy and condense the core. Buzz. In Lu Changsheng's Qi Ocean core, the golden core, after breaking through the sun-moon cauldron, arrives atop the yin-yang 5 elements foundation base under the drive of his divine sense. The significance of the foundation establishment stage lies in that it marks the beginning of the great Tao and affects every subsequent realm. For instance, with a bedrock shatter foundation base, even with immense fortune and a lucky breakthrough to core formation, the fusion of Tao foundation and core could risk fracturing the foundation base. Buzz, dash, bright and round, the golden core lands on the Tao platform, shining brilliantly. The platform trembles, casting a 5 elements radiance that reflects off the golden core. The yin-yang energies transform into a yin-yang fish, swimming around the golden core as if carving it. It is during this process that the still unsolidified liquid mana in the golden core begins to converge, with the mysterious Tao patterns of yin and yang appearing on the surface of the golden core. As long as this process lasts for 100 days, Lu Changsheng's core formation will be considered complete. However, at this moment, Lu Changsheng's mental spirit suddenly wavers slightly. As if he heard elder ancestor of the Su family arriving at Bai Lake Mountain with 2 third-rank demon kings, questioning him about the death of the Su family's second and third ancestors. But in an instant, a light spiritual energy surged in Lu Changsheng's mind, making his mental spirit clear and able to break through illusions, knowing that what he had just experienced was merely a heart demon born from the worries in his heart. In the depths of my heart, I'm still somewhat concerned about elder ancestor of the Su family coming, Lu Changsheng murmured to himself. Knowing that if elder ancestor of the Su family truly did come with 2 third-rank demon kings, even if he could sway people, it would still be very troublesome. He slowly opened his eyes and said to Ling Zishao, replenish the cave heaven's spiritual energy. After all, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven is only a second-rank top-grade spirit vein. The amount of spiritual energy required for his core formation is immense. Continuing this way, it's possible that there will be a lack of spiritual energy. Okay. Upon hearing this, Ling Zishao immediately used the remaining spirit vein origin outside of Changxing Hall as an array eye, causing it to burn and transform into a torrent of pure spiritual energy. Apart from the spiritual vein origin, they had also prepared 100,000 spirit stones for emergencies. Lu Changxing continued to close his eyes, circulating his cultivation technique, refining the golden core, allowing it to gradually merge with the Tao foundation. During this process, Lu Changsheng's inner demons and distractions kept surfacing. Either trouble at Bai Lake Mountain or White Tiger Mountain, his children far in the Jinyang sect, his traveling children, Nangong Mili and Meng Xiaochan, his daughter Nangong Yaoyao. Towards the end, even the news of him forming an immortal golden core spread out, attracting nascent soul true lords. Although all these thoughts were dispelled by Mount Sumeru without affecting Lu Changsheng, they made him deeply realize that his secrets were too great, his vulnerabilities too many, too easily inviting trouble. Just like that, time passed little by little. Lu Miaoge, Ling Zishao, Xiao Xia, and Hong Lian all silently watched Lu Changsheng within the Yin-Yang Taoist chart. It was amazing. The amount of spiritual energy consumed by Lu Changsheng was astonishing. The spiritual vein origin stored in the mountain and river cauldron had all been burned, turning into pure spiritual energy. The prepared spirit stones had dwindled by 20,000. But Lu Changsheng seemed like a bottomless pit, showing no sign of stopping. However, faced with such a situation, they felt no distress, only joy. For the more nature's spiritual energy consumed during a breakthrough, the higher the quality of the golden core. At this moment, they saw the Yin-Yang Taoist chart spinning wildly around Lu Changsheng, like a black hole devouring the spiritual energy of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. What's going on? All 4 women were shocked, unsure of Lu Changsheng's situation at the moment. With core formation entering the final stage, tending towards tranquility, should naturally come together, why then this sudden change? Could it be that a problem arose at the last moment of core formation? No worries. Lu Changsheng spoke out, calling to Mount Sumeru, Mount Sumeru. Yes, Master. Mount Sumeru Tree King immediately directed all the spiritual energy toward Lu Changsheng's surrounding environment. In no time, the entire spiritual energy of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven surged into the black hole formed by the Yin-Yang Taoist chart. The chart exploded into a yin-yang fish, black and white, rushing into Lu Changsheng's Qi Ocean core. Inside Lu Changsheng's Qi Ocean core, atop the central 5-colored Tao platform, the yin-yang golden core shone like a radiant purple-gold sun, bursting forth endless light. And in the very center of the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus of the Qi Ocean core, there was another dark as ink golden core, seemingly lifeless and stagnant. The yin-yang fish formed by the yin-yang Taoist chart picked up this dark golden core, charging straight toward the yin-yang golden core. Boom! With a sudden roaring sound, the yin-yang golden core entwined with the dark golden core, rotating against each other, intertwining into a mysterious yin-yang Taoist chart. Eventually, it settled into a golden core with black and white hues, gleaming with purple gold luster. Buzz. The golden core resonated with the Yin-Yang 5 Elements foundation base in a profoundly mysterious way, emitting supreme Great Tao aura. Following this, sounds of the Great Tao resonated, and a myriad of radiant light burst out from the golden core, as if chaos chi filled the air, purifying Lu Changsheng's flesh and every inch of his skin. Inside the Qi Ocean core, the previously abandoned life-bound spiritual artifact, the Seven Luminaries Heart Lamp, was also bathed in this moment's purification. It wasn't in vain that I spent so much time, effort, and thought. The immortal golden core, like the perfect Tao foundation, is not the end, but can transform further. Lu Changsheng opened his eyes, his pupils streaming with yin-yang energies, and his face revealed ecstatic joy. From now on, he is a true golden core true person. Chapter 1129, Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core, Lifebound Magic Treasure. Changsheng Hall, within the cave mansion. Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, Xiao Xia, and Hong Lian heard the ethereal sound of the great Tao of heaven and earth as they saw Lu Changsheng opening his eyes. His gentle and jade-like eyes were rotating like the sun and moon, radiantly shining. His body was suffused with the yin-yang Taoist melody flowing all around him, adding to him an air of mysterious charm and transcendent purity. Changsheng, you've succeeded in forming your core. Congratulations, my lord, on achieving the great success of the golden core. Changsheng, congratulations on forming your golden core. May you have a long and lasting life. Congratulations, young master. All three ladies were joyous and surprised, knowing that Lu Changsheng had successfully formed his core. Traveling the path of immortality together, moving forward hand in hand, your husband has merely taken a step ahead. Lu Changsheng said with a smile. He then looked at Lu Miaoge's pale and weak expression and said gently, Sister Miaoge, you've worked hard. Previously, the Sun-Moon Samsara technique and Tai Dao seed had indeed caused significant harm to Lu Miaoge. And during these days, she had not rested, keeping her whole attention on his core formation process. Being able to help you makes me very happy. Lu Miaoge's eyes were brimming, gentle as water. There was not only the joy of husband and wife but also a maternal tenderness spilling from her eyes and brows. You rest well. Once I consolidate my realm, I will plant a Dao seed for you. Lu Changsheng held his wife's hand, then looked towards Ling Zixiao and Xiao Xia and said, Zixiao, Xiu, you both have worked hard these days. It wasn't hard. Both women said. Knowing that Lu Changsheng needed to consolidate his realm, they didn't talk much and left the cave mansion to let Lu Changsheng calmly undergo his closed-door cultivation. However, upon leaving the cave mansion, the three ladies looked at one another, each seeing a hint of daze in the other's beautiful eyes. Is this the power of a golden core cultivator? Inside the cave mansion, Lu Changsheng quietly experienced the power filling his body. Compared to the foundation establishment, his current mana could be described as vast as the ocean. With each movement, there was boundless might. He could effortlessly kill his own past self from the foundation establishment stage. This was the disparity between foundation establishment and core formation. Once broken through, the power of foundation establishment would transform into the essence of the golden core. The gap between them was like a chasm in the heavens, much greater than the gap between the spiritual power during the Qi refinement realm and the mana during the foundation establishment stage. To describe it, it was like tofu versus a steel blade. No matter how much tofu there is, it would easily be split in two. At this moment, Lu Changsheng deeply realized the gap between foundation establishment and core formation. He understood why a nascent soul immortal is known as a high-rank cultivator. Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core. At this time, Lu Changsheng looked towards the golden core in the center of the Tao platform within his Qi Ocean core. He instinctively knew the details of his own golden core. This Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core was in harmony with the Yin-Yang 5 Elements foundation base. Apart from significantly enhancing the effects of his initial yin-yang energies, it also markedly strengthened the traits of the cultivation techniques he was practicing. His yin-yang creation classic had the ability to coordinate all arts. It allowed a person to cultivate multiple techniques or skills, maintaining balance. Even by utilizing treasures from the void, one could convert their own mana into suitable demon race or demonic cultivation techniques. However, doing so, no matter what, the Tao Foundation, Golden Core, and cultivation technique would still be somewhat mismatched. It couldn't bring out the full power of the techniques. But the Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core could command and accommodate all techniques. The Golden Core would autonomously adapt according to the transformed technique traits, maximizing the power and effects of the techniques. Not just cultivation techniques, but the spiritual body, and supernatural skills as well. Yin-Yang creation, commanding all arts, Lu Changxing muttered to himself. If the previous characteristic of the Yin-Yang creation classic was to coordinate all arts, now it was to command all arts. This Yin-Yang creation classic and Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core truly suit me. With items like the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus, a treasure of the void, and the second Dantian, I can freely convert mana to the 7 Luminaries Great Freedom Sword Scripture, 99 Mystical Talisman Scripture, Black Dragon Codex, 12 Capital Demon Divine Technique, and also maximize these techniques' power to the greatest extent. If I want to disguise myself as a sword cultivator, I can use the 7 Luminaries Great Freedom Sword Scripture. If I need to deploy a talisman formation, I can operate the 99 Mystical Talisman Scripture. When alchemy is required, I can operate the Cauldron Medical King's Scripture. Lu Changsheng's lips curled into a smile. However, the Yin-Yang Creation Classic and Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core were not omnipotent. For instance, the life-bound divine talisman of the 99 Mystical Talisman Scripture, Demon God's intention of the 12 Capital Demon Divine Technique, even if he transformed the mana and the Golden Core perfectly matched the technique, he still couldn't deploy such moves. Unless he spent time and energy to gather the life-bound divine talisman, Demon God's intention. However, such behavior of going to great lengths for minor gains, Lu Changxing naturally would not do it. If he had that time and energy, he might as well concentrate on condensing the remaining 6 life-bound treasured bone through the 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art. 100 Refinements Treasure Body Art, at the 9th level, could cultivate the skull, rib bone, spine, limbs into treasured bones, and obtain innate divine ability. Chapter 1130, Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core, Lifebound Magic Treasure. Spell, Yin-Yang Creation Capture, Reversal Yin-Yang Glazed Glass Wall, Soul Scattering Needle, Items, Lu Family Genealogy, Myriad Spirits Bottle, 1000 Faces Puppet Fox, 5 Elements Spirit Fruit Tree, Dragon Blood Tree, Evil X Banisher Elixir, Soul Fusion Resurrection Elixir, Book of Malevolent Curses and Fates, Life Substituting Talisman, Magical Treasures, Starlight Plate, Cave Mystique Treasure Mirror, Fate Defying Robe, 7 Luminaries Heart Lamp, Oceanic Bead, Skills, Artifact. Refining, 3rd rank, Music Mastery, 3rd rank, Talisman Making, 3rd rank, Alchemy, 2nd rank, Puppet, 2nd rank, Spirit Slaughterer, 2nd rank, Spirit Cooking, 2nd rank, Wine Brewing, 2nd rank, Dragon Seeking, 2nd rank, Spiritual Pets, Mount Summer Tree King, 9 Netherhound, Heavenly Fragrance Goo, Peach Blossom Goo, Bloodline Effect. Successor Spiritual Root Probability plus 30%, Offspring Reproduction Probability plus 30%, Spiritual Body Inheritance Rate plus 2%, Successors. Comprehension plus 6%, Family Members, 1103, 734, Lu Changxing, upon seeing his lifespan, was suddenly surprised. You should know, a nascent soul immortal, has a lifespan of 500 years. Even if cultivation techniques, physique, lifespan extension pills, and other factors might cause some variation, could it differ this much? However, Lu Changxing immediately guessed the reason. It was related to his Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core, and flawless heavenly fragrance body. The Immortal Golden Core, besides making the cultivator's foundation robust and enhancing the characteristics and effects of practice techniques, also provides a lifespan unlike ordinary humans. There are even rumors that after a Golden Core cultivator dies, as long as the Golden Core remains, the physical body can remain incorruptible for 1,000 years, and indestructible for 10,000 years. This also results in those with an immortal golden core having a much longer lifespan than ordinary nascent soul immortals. And since Lu Changxing possesses the lifespan-extending spirit body, the flawless heavenly fragrance body, and has condensed the Yin-Yang Great Path golden core, his lifespan far exceeds that of an ordinary nascent soul immortal. Geez, how do I even spend such a long lifespan? Lu Changxing felt emotional in his heart. Considering his age and this lifespan, he could truly be called exceedingly young. After pondering for a moment, Lu Changxing looked at his golden core, calmed his mind, and focused intensively, consolidating his realm. The golden core slowly revolved, radiating endless twilight and charms, purifying his blood, meridians, dantian, and divine sense. His pristine, crystal-clear body shimmered with treasure light, and his vivid red blood seemed to flow with a faint golden core charm. Meanwhile, Qingyun sect. In a magnificent palace at Kaiyun Peak. Yun Wanshang, dressed in colorful palace attire with a voluptuous figure, was seated cross-legged. Her beautiful eyes closed, she was nurturing her golden core with yin-yang energies through her Tongyu phoenix marrow body. Then, warmth nurtured her golden core. Buzz. Just then, her golden core trembled slightly. A mysterious flutter inexplicably surfaced in her heart, and on impulse, her beautiful eyes suddenly opened. What's happening? A hint of confusion appeared in Yun Wanshang's beautiful eyes. For that flutter, she felt slightly familiar. It was somewhat similar to when Lu Changxing and Xiao Xia practiced the Sun-Moon Samsara technique previously. Apart from her Tongyu phoenix marrow body, her golden core also mysteriously generated a strange connection, leaving her puzzled. Lu Changxing, Yun Wanshang, with her stunning and elegant demeanor, looked in the direction of Bai Lake Mountain, realizing it was related to Lu Changxing. Although unsure of what had happened, she guessed that it must be Lu Changxing doing something that caused disturbances affecting her. Otherwise, it wouldn't have caused such an impulse and her golden core to tremble. After pondering for a while, she closed her eyes and continued to nurture her golden core. Though their relationship could be considered familiar, and they knew each other thoroughly, to really say they were familiar was yet very strange. They hardly had proper conversations. So guessing that Lu Changxing might have caused some situation, but unless he approached her, she wouldn't take the initiative to contact him. By Lake Mountain. With Lu Changxing's breakthrough in core formation, the defensive state at Bai Lake Mountain was also lifted, back to normal. Nobody knew what had happened several months ago. On this matter, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and others did not explain too much. Inside Changxing Hall at Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Changxing opened his eyes, having consolidated his cultivation realm. Not only was his mana stable, but his physical body was also continuously improving through metamorphosis, reaching the critical point of the 10th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art. As long as his son Lu Pingan put in more effort, his 100 Refinements treasure body art could quickly break through. Besides his physical body, his divine sense had also increased from an original 1,000 zhang to 3,600 zhang. Typically, a nascent soul cultivator would have about 1,000 zhang of divine sense right after breaking through core formation. 3,000 zhang was a mid-nascent soul stage level. This was the advantage of having a robust foundation. Before the breakthrough, the more robust the essence, energy, and spirit, the more significant improvement one could obtain after the transformation baptism during a breakthrough. Besides his physical body, mana, and divine sense, Lu Changxing's life-bound spiritual artifact, the Seven Luminaries Heart Lamp, was also elevated from a middle-grade spiritual artifact to a quasi-magical treasure under the purification of the Golden Core charm. Sigh, it's kind of a pity. Lu Changxing looked at the Seven Luminaries Heart Lamp and sighed in his heart. As he switched his cultivation techniques, this life-bound spiritual artifact was nearly abandoned. It was still kept only because it had effects like guarding the mind and condensing mana. Relying on my own slow nurturing, it's impossible to nurture instantly. If I want to create a magical treasure, it's just too expensive. Lu Changxing thought about being a nascent soul immortal and yet not having a magical treasure suitable for himself and couldn't help but sigh. Yin-Yang creation scripture, being a true immortal level technique, naturally had many corresponding magical treasures. Yin-Yang Taoist Chart. Yin-Yang Ancient Mirror. Yin-Yang 5-Element Sword. Yin-Yang Bagua Robe. Yin-Yang Creation Gourd. But no matter which one, constructing it would be incredibly time-consuming, costly, and energy-intensive. Although Lu Changxing was wealthy, this income was somewhat insufficient at the nascent soul level. Chapter 1131, Yin-Yang Great Path Golden Core, Life-Bound Magic Treasure. Moreover, the rare materials required for forging magical treasures often cannot be purchased with money alone. They must be acquired through bartering and continuous searching. Now that I have broken through to core formation, I can go to Immortal City to put some magical treasures and rare materials out there, exchange them through bartering for the heavenly and earthly treasures I need for crafting my life-bound magic treasure. Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed. He still had some advanced level stock in hand. In the past, he didn't dare to deal with stolen goods openly, but now, he felt more secure about it. Moreover, in my case, there's no need to craft too many magical treasures, 1 or 2 would be sufficient. Lu Changxing took a deep breath and gently exhaled. He usually did not spend time on nourishing magical treasures and seldom went out. In such cases, crafting too many magical treasures, aside from the time and effort, they might become obsolete before even being used. If I were to craft, then crafting the Yin-Yang Taoist Chart and the Yin-Yang Creation Gourd would be sufficient. Lu Changxing had long had ideas about his life-bound magic treasure, so he was not conflicted. The Yin-Yang Taoist Chart is a multifunctional magical treasure. It can evolve Yin and Yang, invulnerable to all methods, can also suppress the void, lock heaven and earth to prevent others from escaping, and can even evolve a golden bridge to traverse the void. With Lu Changxing possessing third-order body refining, Thunder Gang Dragon Flame, 9 treasures Rui Bone, and Talisman Formation, he was not lacking in attacking methods. The effect of this Yin-Yang Taoist chart could perfectly make up for his shortcomings. As for the Yin-Yang Creation Gourd, it serves as a treasure for nurturing Dao soldiers. Cultivating Dao soldiers with this treasure is much simpler than the Blackwater Dragon Spirit Weapon from the Black Dragon Codex. For Blackwater Dragon Spirit Weapon, not only selecting aquatic demon beasts with dragon blood is necessary, but continuous refining with the Blackwater Dragon spell and input of elixir medicines to strengthen their physique and nurture their spirit are required to gradually train a unit of Dao soldiers. The Yin-Yang Creation Gourd, however, can automatically absorb the aura of heaven and earth, ingesting any heavenly and earthly treasures to refine them into Yin-Yang source. Once enough Yin-Yang source is accumulated, it can craft Yin-Yang Daoist soldiers. However, to forge the Yin-Yang Creation Gourd, at least a gourd of spirit root quality is required for the process. Not sure if the system can be more helpful. Lu Changxing thought to himself. The Yin-Yang Taoist chart can still have rare materials added later, continuously upgraded and recast. But that's not the case for the Yin-Yang Creation Gourd. The gourd for forging the magical treasure is very important. If it's just a normal third-order gourd, even if this treasure is crafted, its power and effectiveness are limited, too low of a ceiling. Thus, to Lu Changxing, it would be best if the system provided a 4th order, or even a 5th order top-tier gourd. Such a Yin-Yang Creation Gourd, not only would its effects be great, but it will also be meaningful to cultivate Dao soldiers continuously using it. It's feasible to head to the Myriad Beasts mountain range to collect some materials and forge a few handy magical treasures, Lu Changxing pondered in his mind. Life-bound magic treasures are quite troublesome. But as a third-order artifact refiner, he could absolutely go to Myriad Beasts mountain range and kill a few demon kings for artifact crafting. After all, the materials from a demon king's body are very suitable for forging magical treasures. For example, the previously encountered Wind Thunder Hound. And not just for magical treasures, Lu Changxing also planned to make a trip to Myriad Beasts mountain range. One reason is for his and his son's Tai soul body. Another reason is for the spirit vein. With his breakthrough into core formation, the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven was quite strained. If he cultivated, people at Bihu Mountain wouldn't need to cultivate. Under this circumstance, naturally, he planned to upgrade the spirit vein at home. To Lu Changxing, the simplest method to enhance the spirit vein was to head to Myriad Beast's mountain range to seize the spiritual vein origin. I still don't know how powerful I am now. At this moment, Lu Changxing thought of an issue. Since he was going to Myriad Beast's mountain range, he naturally needed to understand his own combat strength clearly. After all, hunting demon kings in Myriad Beast's mountain range must be swift. If it drags on, it might attract other demon kings. Although he had seen other nascent soul immortals, third-rank demon kings, he had never fully engaged in a fight with them, hence he did not know the strength of a typical nascent soul immortal or demon king. Hong Lian, how does my mana compare to other nascent soul immortals? Lu Changxing immediately looked towards the ancient beast taming charm, beckoned with his hand, and asked Hong Lian. Chapter 1132, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? The ancient beast taming charm blossomed with rosy glimmers, as countless tiny crimson specks meandered across Lu Changxing's body. The young master has just broken through to the core formation stage, yet his mana is as vast as the sea, vigorous and astonishing, sufficient to match many cultivators in the middle stage of true elixir. Moments later, Hong Lian spoke, somewhat surprised by the foundation of Lu Changxing's mana. One must know, from the early to the middle stage of core formation, the quality and quantity of mana are multiplied by several times. Lu Changxing has just reached the first layer of core formation, yet his mana is so robustly exaggerated. This made her realize that Lu Changxing's immortal golden core had been refined to the utmost limit, far surpassing the typical superior gold core, and it might even be the legendary Great Dao golden core. Otherwise, the gap between a superior gold core and true elixir wouldn't be this vast. Mid-nascent soul stage, huh? Lu Changxing heard this, nodded slightly, and continued to ask, then what do you think of my current combat power? Can I kill a cultivator at the middle stage of nascent soul? After pondering for a moment, Hong Lian said, the young master's specific combat power, Hong Lian is not clear. At the core formation level, combat mainly involves magical treasures, divine skills, and external forces. Just relying on mana, if you want to kill someone, it is only possible if the realms are vastly different, such as a late-stage core formation cultivator against one at the initial stage, or an immortal golden core against a low-grade flawed core. The young master has just broken through the core formation stage, and has yet to cultivate divine skills and nurture a life-bound magic treasure. It would be difficult to rely solely on mana to kill a mid-nascent soul stage cultivator. Hong Lian's voice was soft and pleasant, presenting the matter rather tactfully. The greatest advantage of the golden core is its potential and foundation, making breakthroughs and realm advancements easier. In terms of combat, it's just the advantage brought by the foundational mana. Unless the cultivation technique practiced is geared towards sword cultivators or war cultivators, which specialize in offense and battle, the combat power might be somewhat higher. While Lu Changxing's mana is vigorous and mysterious, it's not as sharp and overpowering as the cultivation techniques of sword cultivators or war cultivators. Magical treasures, divine skills, external forces. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. He indeed considered magical treasures as his current weak point. Although he possesses the Starlight Plate, Cave Mystique Treasure Mirror, and the Fate-defying Robe, none of these magical treasures are specialized in offense. However, when it comes to divine skills, Lu Changxing is quite confident. With the inheritance of the system, he doesn't need to spend time on techniques and abilities. Whether it is the Yin Yang Creation Scripture, the 7 Luminaries Great Freedom Sword Scripture, the 99 Mystical Talisman Scripture, or other techniques and abilities, he can execute them all. At most, it would take some time to become familiar and master them. And the Yin Yang Creation Scripture, as a true immortal level technique, naturally contains various divine skills. Currently, he can use 3 divine skills. Yin Yang Qi Grasp. This divine skill boasts the power to overturn rivers and seas, lift mountains, and seize peaks. In combat, it condenses the origin Qi of the golden core into a hand seal with capturing, suppressing, and imprisoning effects. Yin Yang Mysterious Divine Light. This divine skill can transform into countless variations, divine soldiers, magic artifacts, the 5 elements, storms and thunder, even rain and sweet dew. It can also become protective Xian Guang or be used for soaring through the light and fleeing. Reversal Yin Yang Liuli Wall. When this divine skill is activated, it can reverse yin and yang, conceal one's form and aura, and cause confusion in the heavenly secrets. In addition to these 3 major divine skills, Lu Changxing also possesses another great divine skill, Yin Yang Great Mingling Millstone. However, having just broken through to the core formation stage, he is not yet able to use this great divine skill at will, as it would require a significant sacrifice. So in terms of divine skills, he already has an advantage. As for external forces, they are Lu Changsheng's greatest confidence at present. The 9 treasures Rui Bone, possessing 9 top-grade divine skills, is sufficient to enhance his strength in all aspects and allow him to overcome enemies of higher realms. Thunder Gang Dragon Flame enhances his third-order body refinement and increases his prowess in close combat. Thousand Faces Puppet Fox, Endless Guileful Head, and the Dark Demon Corpse, 3 nascent soul combat powers. The Thousand Faces Puppet Fox, proficient in illusion techniques and charm, can bewitch and disturb the mental spirits of others, attacking their divine sense and sinking them into illusion realms. The Endless Guileful Head can disturb one's spirit, create a ghost domain, and erode another's mana. The Dark Demon Corpse, a 3rd-rank Demon King corpse refinement, might have the weakest combat power, but it can also serve as a meat shield, tangling with nascent soul cultivators for several rounds. In addition, he also has the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus as his second Dantian and thousands of talismans as a trump card in his Talisman C tactics. As for the core exotic treasure from before, Profound Origin Bead, it's been phased out. After breaking through to core formation, this exotic treasure could no longer give him a boost in cultivation level, it could only be used as the most ordinary second Dantian to store mana. The effect is far inferior to that of his current Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus. I see the young master has 3rd-order body refinement, and your divine sense is certainly much higher than fellow cultivators of the same realm. Coupled with external forces such as heavenly spiritual fire, your combat power naturally far exceeds those of the same realm, but the combat power of nascent soul cultivators cannot be generalized. Some nascent soul cultivators might only have a low-grade flawed core, but they are fortunate enough to have superior quality magical treasures and astonishing comprehension, mastering multiple divine skills. Their combat power might even be stronger than some newly advanced golden core cultivators. The ancient beast taming charm radiated a diffuse rosy light as Hong Lian continued to speak. The nascent soul stage is unlike Qi refinement and foundation establishment. Even if you've just broken through to the core formation stage, you can use superior quality treasures, or even forcibly spur top-grade treasures. Thus, magical treasures significantly influence combat power during the nascent soul stage. A lot of nascent soul cultivators who may have bleak prospects for further breakthroughs spend most of their time and effort on their life-bound magic treasures and technique and magical powers. This makes their life-bound magic treasures and divine skills far superior to the average person. As for late-stage foundation establishment cultivators, the young master should still be careful. Low-grade flawed core cultivators without great opportunities are basically hopeless in advancing to the late core formation stage. Therefore, those who can break through to the late core formation stage are basically cultivators with middle-grade true pills. Their foundations, potentials, and opportunities are all exceptional. As for third-rank demon kings, since demon beasts naturally have robust physical bodies, it is equivalent to magical dual cultivation, and they are far superior to cultivators of the same realm. If they are top-tier earth rank or heavenly grade bloodline demon kings, they are equivalent to cultivators with superior gold cores, and most likely possess innate divine abilities, making their combat power far surpass those of the same realm. Chapter 1133, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? Hong Lian slowly elaborated on combat prowess during core formation. I understand. Lu Changxing nodded slightly. Combat prowess is something that can only be realized through actual fighting. Without a fight, unless the difference in realm is too great, showing an overwhelming advantage, it's uncertain. After all, every cultivator who has cultivated to this realm has some trump cards. However, Lu Changxing, based on his own mana and divine skills, believed that defeating a cultivator in the mid-core formation stage should pose no problem. As for those in the late core formation stage, Lu Changxing felt there was no need to concern himself. Young master, what grade of golden core did you condense? At this time, Hong Lian couldn't help but ask, her curiosity piqued. She wanted to know if Lu Changxing had condensed the legendary Great Tao Golden Core. An immortal golden core, it's just that my golden core has evolved and ascended upon the foundation of an immortal golden core. Lu Changxing stated directly. Although it is very presumptuous to inquire about someone's Tao foundation or the grade of their golden core among cultivators, Hong Lian was considered an insider, so Lu Changxing didn't mind. Moreover, after the busyness was over, Lu Changxing planned to have a soul fusion with Hong Lian for a deeper understanding of her, and once he confirmed that she had no other intentions, he would give her the Peachwood Spirit Womb. This way, aside from himself, there would be another nascent soul immortal in the family, giving him peace of mind to go out. To evolve upon the foundation of the immortal golden core, does the Great Tao Golden Core really exist? Hong Lian couldn't help exclaiming in surprise. Great Tao Golden Core? There is something beyond the immortal golden core? Lu Changxing was quite astonished. He had never heard of a Great Tao Golden Core. Even though his own golden core was named the Yin Yang Great Path Golden Core, he simply thought it was because he had cultivated the Yin Yang Great Path, hence condensing such a golden core. Yes, regarding the Great Tao Golden Core, I've only ever heard of it, never seen it, nor can confirm its existence. Hong Lian spoke softly. Oh. Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows, gesturing for Hong Lian to elaborate on this Great Tao Golden Core. I once read in a handbook that beyond the immortal golden core, there is a kind of golden core called the Great Tao Golden Core. Those who condense the Great Tao Golden Core are favored by the Great Tao in the unknown, cared for by heaven and earth. Their cultivation path will be much smoother in the future, and they possess the potential for divinity transformation. Hong Lian voiced out, guessing that Lu Changxing most likely possessed the Great Tao Golden Core. After all, the immortal golden core is already imperishable and without flaw, so how could there still be a possibility for transformation? Favored by the Great Tao in the unknown, enhancing one's destiny? Lu Changxing was astounded. He hadn't expected that condensing a core could also enhance one's destiny. However, he had heard of similar sayings. As a cultivator's realm breaks through, their fate invisibly improves a bit. Yes, the saying about destiny is elusive but indeed exists. For example, breaking through from core formation to nascent soul not only requires the right timing, location, and people, but also relates to destiny. Those who manage to break through to nascent soul are all blessed with great destiny. Hong Lian said, however, the truth of this saying is hard to verify. Furthermore, those who can condense the Great Tao Golden Core are children of destiny. Their cultivation path is smooth, as powerful as a bamboo, and even when faced with danger, they often turn calamities into blessings. Therefore, whether the Great Tao Golden Core has the effect of invisibly enhancing one's destiny, is also indiscernible. Although Hong Lian, as a nascent soul true monarch, has broad knowledge, such things as the Taoist body and Great Tao Golden Core are beyond her understanding, and much of which she knows only superficially. I see. Lu Changxing nodded slightly but didn't take it too seriously. He pursued perfection in his foundation, solely believing that he had the potential to become immortal. In this case, he naturally couldn't let the pursuit of realm hinder his foundation, causing him to spend a lot of time and effort later to make up for it. As for the effects of the Great Tao Golden Core, he thought it best if it existed, but was indifferent otherwise. Hong Lian, you have worked hard. Rest well, and in a few days, I will use a secret technique to nourish your soul. Lu Changxing spoke to Hong Lian. He then stored away the ancient beast taming charm and the remaining 4 core formation spiritual objects. Planning to leave these 4 spiritual objects for Lu Miaoga or Xiao Xia to use during their core formation. As long as the cave heaven spirit vein advances to 3rd rank, the 5 elements fruit tree can be planted. Then, whether in foundation establishment or core formation at home, everyone will be able to advance a whole level. Lu Changxing pondered internally. Inside his system space, he still possessed a 5 elements fruit tree. The 5 elements spirit fruits produced by this tree not only enhanced the probability of core formation, but also greatly benefited breakthrough to foundation establishment and the condensation of foundational mana. If Lu Rui had had a 5 elements spirit fruit when breaking through to foundation establishment, it would not only have greatly increased the success rate but even possibly achieved a flawless Dao foundation. Third order spirit vein. Lu Changxing took a deep breath and exhaled before stepping out of the cave mansion. Outside Changxing Hall, Ling Zixiao elegantly sat dressed in a blue palace dress, holding an ancient scroll. Upon seeing Lu Changxing, her genteel and lovely cheeks immediately lit up as she joyfully exclaimed, "My lord!" Zixiao. Lu Changxing approached with a smile, naturally embracing her voluptuous figure, and said, "Zixiao, now that I've broken through to core formation, I am confident that I can resolve the matter of your dragon roar physique." Of course, he would not forget about Ling Zixiao's dragon roar physique, nor that of his daughter, Lu Lingyi. Now that he had broken through to core formation, with his mana and yin-yang source fully enhanced, he was confident he could balance Ling Zixiao's dragon roar origin. "Thank you, my lord." Ling Zixiao, seeing that Lu Changxing's first concern was her own issue, smiled tenderly. Lu Changxing grasped Ling Zixiao's white wrist and activated the yin-yang creation scripture. Buzz. Back when his foundation establishment power could only temporarily suppress and balance the dragon roar physique, but now with the vast and mighty golden core true essence flowing into Ling Zixiao's body, it immediately overwhelmed the dragon roar chi. Under the command of the yin-yang great path golden core, which governs all laws, the dragon roar chi gradually transformed into a stream of yin-yang chi. Chapter 1134, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? This, Ling Zixiao felt the changes within her body, surprised at heart. She had once journeyed to the Zhouxiao immortal city, spending all her spirit stones and heavenly and earthly treasures, to seek a diagnosis from a nascent soul immortal. But the other party indicated that her condition was beyond reversal. Yet Lu Changxing, having just broken through to core formation, was able to use his mana to reverse yin and yang, resolving her dragon roar physique situation, which was astonishing. Buzz buzz buzz, as Lu Changxing's yin-yang magic power baptized Ling Zixiao's meridians and dantian, the dragon roar physique was stimulated, beginning to tremble and bellow. Boom! In Lu Changxing's chi ocean core, the golden core burst forth with splendid radiant light. A black and a white yin-yang fish suddenly surged out, entering Ling Zixiao's body through his palm, suppressing her dragon roar origin. Woo! The dragon roar origin whined weakly, but was still very tenacious, forming a balance with this yin-yang source. Zixiao, well, continue later. Lu Changxing spoke out. He had just made a simple attempt. If they were to truly start reversing yin and yang, it would be more secure to assist with the dual cultivation secret method, with Lu Miaoge watching by his side. Thank you for your hard work, my lord. Ling Zixiao felt much more comfortable and relaxed at this moment, smiling lightly as she spoke. The two left the Changxing Hall and headed towards the Lu family mansion. Changxing, husband, daddy, Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaoyun were joyfully surprised upon seeing Lu Changxing. Currently in the Lu family, only Lu Miaoge, Xiao Xia, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, and Lu Miaohuan knew of Lu Changxing's core formation. The other wives and children all thought that Lu Changxing had been in closed-door cultivation or had gone out recently. Husband, did you really form your core? Moments later, latching onto Lu Changxing's wrist, Lu Miaoyun asked in a soft voice, her fresh and serene face beaming with joy, like a young girl. Hee, you have divine sense, just take a look and you'll know. Lu Changxing looked at his wife, who resembled a little girl, gently pinched her little nose, and said with a smile. Though broadcasting the matter of core formation wasn't appropriate, it was fine to let his beloved wife have a look. Upon hearing this, Lu Miaoyun's divine sense entered Lu Changxing's body unobstructed. She immediately saw within the chi ocean core, at the center of the 5-colored jade disc, a black and white, purple golden gleaming golden core. This is the golden core? Lu Miaoyun observed the golden core. After a moment, she withdrew her divine sense, raised her beautiful head slightly, and with eyes full of admiration and adoration, looked at Lu Changxing and said, I heard Sister Miaoga say that the husband has formed a first-grade golden core. Is this it? That's right. Lu Changxing didn't speak of the great Tao golden core. After all, Hong Lian had mentioned that the idea of a great Tao golden core was just a concept, and its actual existence was uncertain. As expected of my husband, not only becoming a true pill master but also forming a first-grade golden core. Lu Miaoyun said joyfully like a little girl who had tasted honey, I've heard that there aren't many in the entire Jiang country cultivation realm who have formed such golden cores. When she first married Lu Changxing, he was just a little cultivator at the third-level energy refinement. She had never imagined that one day her own husband would become an elusive nascent soul immortal. However, having witnessed Lu Changxing grow step by step over the years, and now practicing the heavenly longevity technique herself, she has put aside her early sensitivity, insecurities, and overthinking, taking joy and pride in her husband's achievements. There might not be many in the Jiang country cultivation realm, but there are quite a few in the southern wilderness cultivation realm. And husband is just one step ahead. In the future, my Miaoyun will also become a nascent soul immortal. Lu Changxing said with a light laugh. Normally, practicing the heavenly longevity technique to achieve core formation would take at least 100 years or two. But with the myriad spirits bottle, this time would be significantly reduced. Lu Miaoyun looked forward to such a day upon hearing this. Then she continued with a joyful smile, Husband, I heard that true pill masters often choose a Dao title. What do you plan to pick? I haven't thought about it yet, I plan to consider it later. Lu Changxing said warmly. Upon achieving core formation, most cultivators would choose a Dao title. They are chosen based on cultivation techniques, names, aspirations, preferences, characteristics, etc., with no strict rules. However, there is a saying in the cultivation world. Your Dao title can influence your destiny. It can subtly guide a person's fortune, changing fate and fortune. Although such a concept is very vague, those who cultivate to the core formation stage all regard destiny and fortune with an attitude of better to believe it and be wrong than to disbelieve and be right. Lu Changxing also chose to believe rather than disbelieve and planned to think about it when the time comes. Lu Miaoyun said with a smile, then told Lu Changxing about some of the things that happened during his half-year of closed-door breakthrough. News came from the Azure Phoenix Immortal City that finally, a force was making a move against the city. With Azure Phoenix Immortal no longer presiding, the Azure Phoenix Immortal City was completely disorganized. Moreover, some high-level members of the Azure Phoenix Immortal City surely anticipated the situation and prepared in advance. However, driven by greed, many cultivators still perished in the turmoil. Rumors now suggest that the Azure Phoenix Immortal City's hierarchy has been replaced by a new group, with backing from the Shadow of Jiang Country and Yu Country Immortal sects. As for how things actually stand, that information was beyond the reach of Bihu Lake Mountain. A major cleansing in the Azure Phoenix Immortal City. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing's first thought was of Li Feiyu. The latter had written to him before, advising against going to the Azure Phoenix Immortal City, probably sensing the approach of this tumultuous day. He wondered how Li Feiyu fared amidst this upheaval. With such a drastic overhaul, it said that most who died were false core immortals or foundation establishment peak cultivators. Li Feiyu should be fine. Chapter 1135, Wife, do you want to see my golden core? _4 Lu Miaoyun guessed that her husband was worried and spoke up to comfort him. Lu Changxing nodded, without saying much. Husband, Xingyue and Yunlu had returned home a while ago. Lu Miaoyun continued, changing the subject. That year, Lu Changxing sent a group of his children to the Qingyun sect for assessment. The pair of children entered the sect and now both are at the peak of qi refinement. Have them take on some sect tasks and go to the marketplace to hone themselves for a while. They should earn some spirit stones on their own. Our family will provide support when the time comes. Lu Changxing pondered for a moment before speaking. Both children, although at the peak of qi refinement, had only mediocre talent and comprehension. Without fortuitous opportunities, it would be very difficult for them to attempt foundation establishment in this lifetime. As their father, although he would provide opportunities, he also wanted them to put in some effort. It isn't possible to have the foundation establishment elixir and resources all prepared as soon as they reach the required realm. Not only would this easily lead to failure and breed spoiled prodigies, but whether they succeed or fail in foundation establishment, it would inevitably impact by Lake Mountain to some extent. Especially since the two have long been in the Qingyun sect. Lu Xingyue was better off, with the care of Xia Zhaoyang and Zhao Qingqing, and was close to his own family. Lu Yunlu, on the other hand, had a somewhat reclusive temperament, feeling less attached to the family. This was why many cultivation families rarely send their exceptionally talented offspring to immortal sects. Lu Miaoyun obediently responded. At this moment, Lu Changxing saw Lu Miaoga standing beside him in a white dress, her eyebrows and eyes smiling, brimming with maternal charm, and gently looking at him. Smiling, he said, "Sister Miaoga, would you like to see the golden core?" Sure. Lu Miaoga stepped forward tenderly and, through her divine sense, looked at Lu Changsheng's yin-yang great path golden core, expressing surprise and astonishment. Is this the immortal golden core? Golden cores are not identical. They vary according to each individual's cultivation technique, the patterns on the pill, and the color. But Lu Changsheng's golden core could be identified as extraordinary at first glance. After Lu Miaoga finished observing the golden core and they shared a tender moment, Lu Changxing went to find Xiao Xie. Due to matters related to core formation, Xiao Xie had been staying at Bai Lake Mountain and had not returned to the Qingyun sect. "Xiyu, would you like to see the golden core?" Lu Changxing spoke to the cold and holy fairy, sharing the fruits of his joy with her. Immortal golden core. Xiao Xie stared at the golden core, her clear and moon-like beautiful eyes fixed. Even as the true inheritor of the immortal sects, a disciple of a nascent soul immortal, her ultimate goal had been to condense a high-quality golden core. Yet now, Lu Changxing had easily surpassed that goal. Speaking of which, Xiyu, do you remember the problem with the cultivation technique I mentioned to you before? At that moment, Lu Changxing asked Xiao Xie. The condensation of the yin-yang great path golden core gave him additional thoughts about Xiao Xie's supreme forgetful love technique. He planned to influence Xiao Xie through soul fusion to see if he could solve the issues with her supreme forgetful love technique. Yes, I have been contemplating this for years and have also sought advice from my master, but to no avail. Xiao Xie spoke softly. Even with her superior talent and comprehension, she couldn't forge her own path based on the supreme forgetful love technique. No worries, I have a solution. Lu Changxing spoke confidently, sharing his thoughts with her. Moments later, the two arrived at Changxing Hall. Accompanied by the sound of rustling, the two began to engage in yin-yang soul fusion, entwining with each other. "Xiyu, the sun-moon samsara technique," Lu Changxing immediately said. The two were already extremely proficient with this cultivation technique, although they had not reached small achievement, they were just one step away. As the technique circulated, they both gradually entered a state of desire without affection. A sacred radiance emerged from Lu Changsheng's forehead, illuminating Xiao Xie. Feeling it, Xiao Xie let go of her mental spirit, allowing the radiant glow of the sun to bathe her. However, when Lu Changsheng's divine sense and soul attempted to achieve soul fusion with Xiao Xie, he sensed an inaccessible coldness from within. This coldness did not come from Xiao Xie. It came from her supreme forgetful love technique. Just as I suspected. Lu Changxing had already anticipated that the coldness within Xiao Xie was due to the influence of the supreme forgetful love technique on her spirit and soul. Fortunately, the yin-yang creation scripture governed all laws, was compatible with everything, and inherently had a certain affinity, gradually encompassing Xiao Xie's cold soul and slowly merging it together. The moment their souls merged, Xiao Xie let out a soft moan. This was her first experience with a spiritual connection, feeling very mystical. Just like the first time Lu Changxing embraced her, her heart fluttered and trembled, and the supreme forgetful love technique involuntarily began to circulate. Yin and yang resonate, with a common foundation, the way of creation, creating something from nothing. Endless information flowed into her consciousness, as if accommodating her supreme forgetful love technique. Chapter 1136, The Second Personality, Lu Wangshu breaks through. Changsheng Hall, on the bed. Lu Changsheng and Xiao Xie merged bodies and souls. At this moment, their spirits opened up to each other, engaging in the most pure and primal exchange of life. During this process, Lu Changsheng vividly experienced the tangled emotions Xiao Xie felt between her love for him and her pursuit of the Tao. As the yin-yang creation scripture circulated continuously, their souls fused more deeply. In the deep recesses of Xiao Xie's divine soul Si, Lu Changsheng seemed to see a woman. This woman was vague, appearing like a high and unattainable female immortal, exuding an aura of the merciless great Tao and the impartiality of heaven, making her unapproachable. Lu Changsheng could clearly sense that the indifferent nature of Xiao Xie's soul originated from this. What's going on? Could practicing the supreme forgetful love technique gradually give rise to a second personality? Lu Changsheng faintly made out that this vague woman was Xiao Xie. Or rather, this was the usually cold, noble, and pure Xiao Xie. He circulated the yin-yang creation scripture, deepened their soul fusion, and attempted to contact this female immortal. However, the hazy glow around this woman formed an invisible barrier, constantly resisting and repelling Lu Changsheng, which made it hard for him to advance. Faced with this situation, Lu Changsheng did not dare to force it. The soul is of great importance to a cultivator. A slight mishap could lead to some terrible event or consequence. After a while, Lu Changsheng and Xiao Xie exited the state of soul fusion. Both felt an overwhelming spiritual desire and an inexplicable reluctance to part. Xiyu, I just saw a woman in the depths of your soul. Lu Changsheng held Xiao Xie's delicate and smooth body, the plump and slick body filling his palms, as he spoke of what just transpired. A woman? Xiao Xie's face blushed, full of sprightly spring charm and incomparable beauty, unaware of the situation. She only knew that when the supreme forgetful love technique operated, she would indeed enter a state devoid of desire and emotion. Or rather, except when with Lu Changsheng, she spent most of her time in that state. However, she realized that just now her supreme forgetful love technique had spun out of control uncontrollably, exhibiting the same thrill as when she first cultivated with Lu Changsheng. I suspect this is the main reason why practicing the supreme forgetful love technique affects one's disposition. However, the soul is of great importance. I dare not probe it rashly. It requires your active cooperation, Xiyu. If we could closely contact this soul state, I believe it potentially resolves the issues of supreme forgetfulness, said Lu Changsheng. The Sun-Moon Samsara technique needs a small achievement before spiritual intercourse can occur. Currently, Xiao Xie's Sun-Moon Samsara technique has not reached the level of small achievement, so she can only passively participate in the soul fusion, unable to respond actively. Therefore, Lu Changsheng plans to wait until each other's techniques achieve small success, and together, they would circulate the techniques to break the soul barrier. All right, Xiao Xie, with a cool yet charming glance and softly enticing voice, responded. In that case, let's make use of this time to cultivate the Sun-Moon Samsara technique more. Lu Changsheng looked at the enticing and beautiful Xiao Xie before him and immediately suggested. The cultivation of a technique such as the Sun-Moon Samsara technique cannot be achieved overnight. One can only advance through continuous daily cultivation until it naturally comes to fruition. Thus, Lu Changsheng did not indulge in distractions, planning to primarily focus on condensing the Tai Dao seed in the coming time. Lu Miaoge had passed the Tai Dao seed to him, not only causing him to be in a weakened state, he also couldn't cultivate during this period. Moreover, he needed to solve the issue of Ling Zixio's dragon roar physique, and required Lu Miaoge to act as the protector by his side. Besides, Lu Changsheng did not forget about his daughter, Lu Wangshu, encouraging her to adjust her state and prepare for the foundation establishment. Dad, it's just establishing the foundation. I've long been ready. There's no need to spend more time preparing. Lu Wangshu blinked her eyes, her smile bright and flawless, confidently speaking. In her early years, she was somewhat eager and nervous about the foundation establishment. But as time passed, she gradually came to view it with equanimity. Moreover, being constantly praised by Lu Changsheng, saying things like, "My daughter Wang Shu has the qualifications of a true immortal, a perfect foundation base, the golden core is foreseeable, the best talisman cultivator in Jiang country," made her somewhat believe in herself, thinking that such a minor foundation establishment could be done in the blink of an eye. "Wang Shu, foundation establishment is very important," Xiao Xia voiced her concern from the side. These days she had been staying at Bihu Lake Mountain, wanting to wait until her daughter had established her foundation before returning. "Mom, rest assured." Lu Wangshu looped her arm around her mother's wrist, playfully speaking. Seeing this, Xiao Xia did not say much more, only giving a few pointers about the foundation establishment. Then the three of them headed to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Wangshu sat cross-legged under her parents' watchful eyes, closed her eyes, focused her mind, and began to prepare for foundation establishment. Shiyu. Seeing this, Lu Changsheng took out a jade flute, ready to perform a duet with Xiao Xia. An act to nurture their emotions, a joy for husband and wife. Also, it was through the mastery of music that they cleansed their daughter's soul. Soon, one held the flute to the lips, the other's delicate hands played the strings. The sound of the zither arose, gentle and profound like a babbling stream, while the flute's melody was like a valley breeze, ethereal and deep. When the sound of the zither and the flute intertwined, it seemed like mountain streams meeting, immersing the soul as if one was in a world full of bird songs and floral scents, utterly poetic and picturesque. Lu Wangshu felt her mental spirit calm and content under such music. Her spiritual power flowed more smoothly and naturally, and she even felt on the verge of breaking through on her own. She opened her eyes, ready to start her breakthrough. But seeing her parents performing together, gazing at each other with affectionate eyes, she couldn't help but feel annoyed. Aren't my parents supposed to be protectors helping me establish the foundation? How come they look so amorously devoted to each other, making me feel like an outsider, totally out of place? Chapter 1137, What's the matter, Wang Shu? After a moment, Xiao Xia noticed her daughter pouting while looking at herself and Lu Changsheng, and gently asked. Mom, I'm ready. I'm beginning my breakthrough. Lu Wangshu knew that her parents rarely had time together and didn't behave oddly. Break through peacefully, the gift for your foundation establishment from Dad is already prepared. Lu Changsheng knew his daughter was sensitive to elegance, chuckled softly, patted her little head, and spoke warmly. Thank you, Daddy. Lu Wangshu immediately smiled radiantly, then took the foundation establishment elixir, and started her foundation establishment breakthrough. The 3 challenges of foundation establishment were a breeze for Lu Wangshu. She had her physical body baptized in medicinal baths since her childhood and was now at the 5th layer of the 100 Refinements treasure body art. Thus, although she seemed like a delicate girl, a single punch from her was enough to terrify countless people. In terms of mana, she cultivated the 99 mystical talisman scripture, which perfectly matched her blood talisman spiritual body. Moreover, she was fed heavenly and earthly treasures by Lu Changsheng over the years, using the 7 luminaries heart lamp to condense her foundation, making it incredibly robust. As for her divine sense, it was also successfully cultivated through heavenly and earthly treasures with the Purple Mansion Nurturing Spirit technique 5 years ago. So, these 3 foundation challenges posed absolutely no difficulty to Lu Wangshu. Not long after, she perfectly transcended the 3 challenges and began to condense her Tao foundation. Sar the novel, F. Iyer. Enter website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Nature's spiritual energy surged torrentially towards Lu Wangshu, forming a spiritual energy vortex several tens of meters across. Facing this situation, inside Lu Wangshu, it was as if there were a tsunami roaring continuously. Seeing this scene, both Lu Changsheng and Xiao Xia revealed smiles of relief in their eyes. Qi refinement to foundation establishment can be generally judged by spiritual pressure and the spiritual energy vortex. In the case of their daughter, one might say, unless something unexpected happens, she's likely to form a perfect foundation base. Mount Sumeru. Lu Changxing called out, asking Mount Sumeru to increase the spiritual pressure for his daughter. With the yin-yang creation scripture operating, within the Qi ocean core, the Tao gold core burst forth with 10,000 zhang of divine light, brilliant and dazzling, with the yin-yang fish from the yin-yang great path golden core circling around. Wang Shu, don't get distracted. Lu Changxing spoke, transmitting this yin-yang source into his daughter's body. Boom! As Lu Changxing condensed the golden core, the effectiveness of this yin-yang qi increased tenfold or more. After entering Lu Wangshu's elixir lake, it caused her spiritual power to boil and roar. If it weren't for Lu Wangshu's second-order body refining, it might have been hard to withstand such spiritual energy flooding her body. Despite this, Lu Wangshu's delicate and flawless face showed a trace of pain, causing Xiao Xian nearby much distress. Lu Changxing kept his divine sense focused on his daughter the whole time. The 99 mystical talisman scripture is different from most cultivation techniques. During breakthrough to foundation establishment, it allows the condensing of comprehended spiritual patterns on the Tao platform, enhancing the foundation. Thus, he closely monitored his daughter throughout to avoid any accidents or mistakes. And time slowly passed this way. A month later, Lu Wangshu successfully achieved a breakthrough in foundation establishment. The process went very smoothly without any mishaps. Dad, Mom. Lu Wangshu opened her eyes. Her radiant cheeks now had a touch more tranquility, elegance, and literate charm. Hee, congratulations to my daughter, Fairy Wangshu, for breaking through foundation establishment and condensing the perfect Tao foundation. Golden core is now within reach. Lu Changxing heartily congratulated. Wangshu, congratulations on your breakthrough in foundation establishment. Xiao Xia stepped forward to gently stroke her daughter's hair, speaking tenderly. Hee, it's just a small foundation establishment. Lu Wangshu's delicate chin lifted slightly as she playfully said. She planned to beat up Lu Lingxiao later. This younger brother had actually challenged her when he broke through to the 9th level of energy refinement. Luckily, she had a talisman by her side, easily suppressing him. Otherwise, where would her dignity as an older sister stand? Now that she had broken through to foundation establishment, as a good sister, she naturally needed to concern herself with her brother, to let him know what a perfect Tao foundation is, the gap between Qi refinement and foundation establishment, and thereby motivate him to cultivate diligently. Otherwise, by the time Lu Lingxiao reached foundation establishment, she wouldn't have the chance anymore. Wangshu, this is the gift your mother prepared for you. Xiao Xia took out a delicately beautiful brocade box from her storage bag. She had prepared the gifts for her daughter long ago. Thank you, Mom. Lu Wangshu was delighted, hugged her mother, kissed her on the cheek, then looked at Lu Changxing, adorably calling out, Daddy. She knew well that compared to her mom, her old dad's treasures were endless, like cracking open lucky eggs. Consolidate your cultivation well, it'll give you more later. Lu Changxing flicked her forehead lightly, to avoid her getting distracted by other things after receiving the gifts. Dad, I told you not to knock on my head. Lu Wangshu wrinkled her little nose and complained sweetly. All right. Lu Changxing then pinched her delicate cheeks. Watching her daughter break through foundation establishment and begin to consolidate her realm, Xiao Xia left by Lake Mountain the next day, returning to Qingyun sect. Lu Changxing also started his closed-door cultivation to condense the Tai Dao seed. But before starting to condense the Tai Dao seed, he casually erased the imprint from the profound origin bead. He initially thought of using this bead as a family heirloom. Now he plans to give it to his daughter, Lu Wangshu. One reason is that this object doesn't merit being a family heirloom. Another is Lu Wangshu cultivates the 99 mystical talisman scripture. Indeed, this exotic treasure suits her well and could elevate her combat capability significantly. Wangsha's situation really does somewhat resemble mine in my younger days. At that moment, Lu Changxing stroked his chin, suddenly realizing his daughter Lu Wangsha's combat abilities and means were somewhat like a weaker version of himself. Second rank Talisman Master. Second order body refining. Perfect foundation base. Main combat capability comes from Talisman C tactics. And she has several puppets by her side. I'm renowned for my talisman path. The family indeed should have a talismanic genius, otherwise, it would seem as though we lack successors. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know it report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1138, Lu Changxing let out a light chuckle, closing his eyes to fully concentrate on condensing the Tai Dao seed. 3 months later. In the cave mansion, Lu Changxing sat cross-legged, circulating the Tai seed way art, his hands continuously forming gesture incantations. S.E.A. the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Boom, boom, boom. His body surged with blood and chi, mana flowing throughout, the yin-yang 5 elements foundation base, and yin-yang great path golden core vibrating constantly. Humming, within the chi ocean core, the yin-yang fish continued to draw from Lu Changxing's Dao foundation and golden core origin source. Under the nourishing flood of the world's spiritual energy, a seed about the size of a thumb, half liquid and half solid, with black and white chi flowing throughout its golden form, gradually took shape. This second-grade spiritual vein is really tough to endure. Ordinary early-stage core formation cultivators at least train in third-rank lower-grade spirit veins. With a golden core like mine, so many people in the family, the best would be third-grade medium quality, high quality, to top-tier spirit veins. Lu Changxing exhaled deeply, shaking his head wearily. Now, condensing the Tai Dao seed was not as difficult as the first time. But the family's spirit vein was seriously affecting his progress. The process also required restoration of mana through spirit stones, which was truly stifling. This intensified Lu Changxing's already urgent desire to excavate spirit veins in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. However, in Lu Changxing's view, to nurture the spirit vein to third-order superior, top tier, would rely on whether the system would be strong enough or not. Simply by intercepting the spiritual vein origin, nurturing the spirit vein was too hard. After taking a long while to regulate his breathing, Lu Changxing sought out Lu Miaoge, indicating that his Dao seed had already condensed. Changxing, you've worked hard. Lu Miaoge's tone was tender as water. Passing the Tai Dao seed to Lu Changxing would leave her weakened for a long time. Likewise, Lu Changxing planting the Dao seed for her would deplete his origin source, necessitating rest. Sister Miaoge is speaking as if we are strangers. Lu Changxing smiled, gazing at her serene and snowy countenance in front of him. He reached out to embrace Lu Miaoge's fragrant shoulders and captured her rosy lips. A warm, slippery, and sweet fragrance spilled between their lips and teeth. Afterward, Lu Changxing operated the Tai seed way art, slowly transferring the Tai Dao seed from his Qi ocean core into Lu Miaoge's mouth. Hum. As soon as the Tai Dao seed entered Lu Miaoge's mouth, it instantly spread currents of warmth, traversing her meridians, warming her muscles, meridians, and dantian. At the same time, Lu Miaoge's water of virtue technique began to operate on its own, generating an invisible spiritual pressure that swept and converged the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Lu Changxing immediately realized that Lu Miaoge was about to break through. But this was perfectly normal. Lu Miaoge had broken through to the 5th layer of foundation establishment years ago. It was just that she had been distracted by her son, Lu Qingxian, and neglected her cultivation in recent years. Boom! The moment the Tai Dao seed entered Lu Miaoge's Qi ocean core, her elixir lake seemed to fill up, boiling and surging. Her foundation establishment 5th layer cultivation level instantly broke through to the foundation establishment 6th layer. Sister Miaoge. Lu Changxing didn't linger over the sweetness in his mouth and reminded Lu Miaoge to quickly integrate the Dao seed. Lu Miaoge's skin glowed, not daring to delay. She fully operated the water of virtue technique. Lu Changxing also circulated the Tai seed way art to assist her in integrating the Dao seed. Having previously transmitted the Tai Dao seed to Lu Changxing for breakthrough, integrating this Dao seed now harmonized even better for Lu Miaoge. During the integration process, she could clearly feel a majestic and vast qi surging through her limbs, seemingly consolidating her Dao foundation a bit more. Is this the Dao seed of an immortal golden core? A mix of astonishment and wonder filled Lu Miaoge's heart, as she keenly felt the difference between this golden core Dao seed and the previous foundation establishment Dao seed. With this golden core Dao seed, not only were her foundation and cultivation talent further enhanced, it would also greatly help her future venture into core formation, increasing her chances by several fold. After a long time, Lu Miaoge merged the Tai Dao seed with her Dao foundation, completely elevating her essence, qi, and spirit. Even her freshly broken through foundation establishment's 6th layer cultivation level made significant progress. Sister Miaoge. Lu Changxing looked at his wife, beautiful as an icy snow lotus, and called out in a low voice. Speaking, he leaned in with a warm breath, capturing her reddened, moist lips, a light fragrance as sweet as lotus blossoms wafting through the air. Lu Miaoge's lips were soft as she hummed contently, closed her eyes, and wrapped her arms around Lu Changxing, gently responding to him. By Yun Peak. Lu Changxing stood with his daughter, Lu Wangshu, at the peak, gazing out at the vast and mist-enshrouded by Shui Lake. Your father once established by Lake Mountain by using the talisman path to vanquish 3 foundation establishment great cultivators from the Yu family. Although Bai Lake Mountain is still a corner of Jiang country, the heart is as vast as the world it holds. Therefore, your father believes that one day, our Lu family will stand at the pinnacle of the cultivation world. Lu Changxing, dressed in a green robe, stood tall and graceful, like a plant in full bloom, speaking in a warm voice. I also believe there will come such a day. Lu Wangshu didn't quite grasp what her father meant but obediently agreed with a naive face. So, this is the gift from your father to you. Lu Changxing gestured towards the front as he spoke out. Lu Wangshu blinked, puzzled by what her father meant. She then wrinkled her nose and tentatively asked, Dad, are you saying that you want me to inherit by Lake Mountain? Lu Changxing. Your father is telling you that the heart is as vast as the world, so the gift I am giving you is this world, this piece of heaven and earth. You can soar freely in this world, with no restrictions. Lu Changxing patted his daughter's head, saying earnestly. After a long silence, Lu Wangshu looked up at her father and said, Dad, you've changed. You've become stingy and shameless. Your gift is gone. Lu Changxing flicked his daughter's smooth forehead. No, Daddy, I know you are the best, I really like this gift. Lu Wangshu, of course, knew her father was joking. Snuggling affectionately on her father's arm, she cooed, but this world is so dangerous, what if your precious daughter encounters danger, then you'll never see me again. Lu Wangshu, you really are shameless. Lu Changxing shook his head and laughed. With a slight lift of his hand, a treasure bead the size of an egg, shining with deep blue luster, appeared in his palm. This treasure is called the Profound Origin Bead, able to autonomously absorb the nature's spiritual energy, store it, and after refinement, it's like a cultivator's second dantian, and it can also increase one's small realm. Lu Changxing announced. A second dantian, increasing a small realm. Lu Wangshu looked at the Profound Origin Bead, her clear and bright eyes shining with sparkling light. Although she hadn't ventured out much, her knowledge was not lacking. She understood what this simple description entailed. Yes, as for the effects, you'll know after you refine it. Lu Changxing smiled. Whoa, I knew Daddy, you are the best, the most affectionate towards me. Lu Wangshu instantly put on a facial expression that was both close to the heart and obedient, her voice dripping with sweetness. There is also this talismanic weapon, the 99 Mysterious True Strategy, which is comprised of 10,080 Xuanzhen talismans. It's also your father's renowned treasure, and now I am passing it on to you, hoping you will not let down the reputation of our by Lake Mountain. Lu Changxing handed over the early crafted 99 Mysterious True Strategy to his daughter. Dad, if you give it to me, what will you do? Lu Wangshu's long, dense eyelashes fluttered like small fans that could touch one's heart. It's okay, the future belongs to your generation, and it doesn't matter to your father. Lu Changxing stroked his daughter's head, his expression one of tender fatherly love. Dad, rest assured, I will definitely not tarnish your reputation. Lu Wangshu nodded firmly in response and quickly stowed the 99 Mysterious True Strategy. Afterward, Lu Changxing and Lu Wangshu headed to the Lu family mansion, asking Lu Xingyang to send a message to Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong to meet them at Bai Lake Mountain. He planned to inquire about their ideas concerning the trade association and to start making progress in that area. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1139, Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, Changxing Hall. Lu Changxing, holding the ancient beast taming charm, sat cross-legged, preparing to use the sun-moon samsara technique to nourish Hong Lian's soul. The ancient beast taming charm emitted flowing luminescence, countless tiny crimson specks surged forth, eventually forming a figure, a woman wearing a magnificent pearl crown and a red palace dress with a long robe. Her form and features were faint and hazy, making it hard to discern her appearance. But this vague haze in no way concealed her peerless grace. She possessed a divine, majestic aura befitting someone of high station, the dignified elegance of a mature woman, and an ethereal, lofty detachment that seemed within sight yet beyond reach. Even after so many years, seeing Hong Lian still caused Lu Changxing to feel a slight thrill. Thank you for your trouble, young master. Hong Lian was well aware that given Lu Changxing's current state of soul, it would be difficult for him to be of much assistance to her. However, this was the first time Lu Changxing had made such a request, and she had her suspicions, so she was quite at ease. There's no need for such politeness. Over the years, you have worked hard for my sake, and I have yet to do anything for you. Lu Changxing said with a smile, activating the sun-moon samsara technique. A sun will appeared between his eyebrows, casting a divine golden radiance that illuminated the faint form of Hong Lian. Faced with this effulgence, flames of a fiery red color flowed on Hong Lian's skin. She resembled a resplendent phoenix, not quite a phoenix, a vermilion bird, divine bird, which willingly bathed in the glow of the sun. Squawk. The vermilion bird sang long and mournfully, enwrapped in flames, bathing in the sun's light, where the fiery gold flames and the golden sun mingled willingly. In an instant, a peculiar sensation arose in Lu Changxing's heart. It felt as if he were embracing Hong Lian, their skin touching, blending harmoniously, warm and comfortable as if floating into an ethereal realm, absolutely enchanting. Is this a nascent soul, true lord? Even a mere remnant soul is so astonishing. Lu Changxing thought with surprise. He realized that even in her weakened and depleted condition, Hong Lian's soul was beyond comparison to an ordinary nascent soul immortal. If Hong Lian were willing to risk soul dispersal, she arguably could possess the power to suppress a core formation. Currently engaging in soul fusion with her, even with the protection of Mount Sumeru, was akin to standing under a precarious wall. Yet having the life-substituting talisman, Lu Changxing was fearless, dedicating his whole heart to dual cultivation with Hong Lian, and using his mana origin to nourish her soul. Their souls collided and melded seamlessly. Around the vermilion bird bountiful fiery red Tao patterns flowed, transforming into profound and arcane truths. This was Hong Lian transmitting her understanding of the great Tao to Lu Changxing through a soulful communion. As long as Lu Changxing earnestly apprehended these insights, he could learn from them, saving much wandering on his future path of cultivation. During this process, Hong Lian also opened up the spiritual consciousness contained within her soul to Lu Changxing, enabling him to clearly sense every subtle thought in her heart. Hong Lian, with his eyes closed, Lu Changxing captured many of Hong Lian's thoughts and feelings, including those threads and wisps of heartfelt submission. In this silent communion, a charming, delicate, and subtle invisible thread of emotion gently entwined around Lu Changxing, softening his heart. Men are often easily moved, easily touched. Especially with a woman like Hong Lian, exceedingly beautiful, of noble status, and extraordinarily talented, offering herself so openly, revealing her emotions. How could he not be moved? Throughout this process, Lu Changxing also caught many of Hong Lian's thoughts and speculations about him. The Dragon Emperor body, Central State Holy King, reincarnated true immortal, this really confused Lu Changxing. He never expected Hong Lian to have indulged in such wild fantasies. One could only say, the more one knows, the more complicated one's thoughts become. Seeing Hong Lian express her feelings so candidly, Lu Changxing also realized that she had guessed his intentions, so she cooperated willingly, showing her feelings, her sincerity. It's so comfortable to deal with a clever person. Lu Changxing sighed inwardly. Although he had a bit of male chauvinism, he didn't mind at all if the wives and concubines in his home were smart and capable. A simple and sweet girl might evoke a sense of protection and cherish. Yet, a woman like Hong Lian ignited his desire to conquer. Time passed by slowly. Although Lu Changxing's soul nourishing could not greatly aid Hong Lian, the dual soul cultivation caused by her initiative led to a delightful heartfelt thrill, surpassing even corporeal desires. Thus, both of their souls continued to merge, sticking closely to each other, reluctant to part. It was unclear how much time had passed before Lu Changxing slowly awoke from the union of souls with a feeling of reluctant parting. He silently sighed. Indeed, it held true that if you feel very comfortable with someone, it indicates they are on a higher level than you. Hong Lian, you have worked hard. Lu Changxing looked at the faint form of Hong Lian and spoke. Originally, he planned to use the soul fusion to nourish Hong Lian's soul. Yet it turned into a session of dual soul cultivation, from which he gained some benefits. However, after this communion, Lu Changxing felt closer to, and more accepting of, Hong Lian. He knew that while she had her purposes, she was genuinely heartfelt and sincere. Young master, you are too polite. Such a communion could fill both parties with a spirit of desire, promoting fondness. Sarch ** the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But being a nascent soul true lord, the impact on Hong Lian was not significant. The previous communion of souls was not a mere act, it was truly sincere and heartfelt. Hong Lian, I once promised you that I would reshape a body for you. At present, I do have something that could be used as a physical body, you can see if it's suitable. Lu Changxing did not beat around the bush and spoke directly. There's a saying, if she's inexperienced in the ways of the world, show her its myriad splendors. If her heart has been weathered by experience, take her to ride the merry-go-round. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1140, Women like Hong Lian, who have been through much, know many things by heart and see them very clearly. It is nearly impossible to win her over with romance and conventional tactics. Hence, it's better to be straightforward. Simply follow the train of thought she imagines, let her be puzzled, and she will unravel it on her own. Moreover, deep down, a great cultivator like Hong Lian actually harbors a bit of admiration for the strong. Once I grow strong enough, she will naturally admire and submit to me wholeheartedly. Hong Lian blinked in surprise, not expecting Lu Changxing to possess a spirit object capable of reconstructing physical bodies. Although she believed Lu Changxing would recreate a body for her, she assumed that it would take centuries. She immediately realized that Lu Changxing must have possessed such a heaven and earth spirit object for a while. But earlier, due to a lack of trust in her, he did not present it directly. The recent soul fusion was also a test and a probe of her. Thank you, young master. Hong Lian said softly, knowing that she had passed Lu Changsheng's test. Let's go, it'll take you to see. Holding the ancient beast taming charm, Lu Changsheng and Hong Lian walked out of the Changsheng Hall. Then he called out, Mount Sumru. As his voice fell, a gigantic withered log appeared in the cave heaven. The log was charred throughout, clearly a stump without a crown or branches. On the trunk, there were 9 crystal clear, brilliantly charming peach blossoms, as if carved from jade, emitting a strong, heartening fragrance. This is... Hong Lian had barely laid eyes on the peachwood spirit womb in front of her, her soul trembling slightly, her beautiful eyes showing surprise, amazement, and doubt as she studied the spirit womb. Moments later, she looked at Lu Changsheng with disbelief and asked, Young master, is this a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth? She had only heard of the spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, never having seen it before. Thus, seeing the peachwood spirit womb in front of her, she was extremely astonished, even somewhat hesitant to believe it. That's right, this tree was originally a 10,000-year peach god tree that fell during its transformation tribulation. However, by a twist of fate, it spawned a smidgen of spiritual mechanism under the heavenly tribulation and conceived a spiritual embryo. Now, after tens of thousands of years of growth, the spiritual embryo has reached the 4th rank, transformed into an external incarnation and Tao soldier, possessing directly a 3rd rank cultivation level. With sufficient cultivation of heavenly and earthly treasures, it can grow to a 4th rank cultivation level in about a century. What do you think of this spiritual embryo as your body? Lu Changsheng said with a light smile, his expression serene. 10,000-year peach god wood, heaven and earth spiritual embryo, 4th rank in a century. Hong Lian, hearing such words, was shaken to the core, her expression somewhat bewildered. She hadn't expected that the log before her was truly a heaven and earth spiritual embryo. And a 4th rank one at that. One must know, spiritual embryos are extremely rare, belonging to the top-tier spiritual objects used in creating external incarnations. The value of a 4th rank spiritual embryo is immeasurable. And now, Lu Changsheng was offering such an exceptionally rare heaven and earth spiritual embryo to her as a body. At this moment, Hong Lian didn't know what to say. She was both shocked by Lu Changsheng's generous move and deeply touched, fortunate. Fortunate that Su Rian encountered Lu Changsheng. Fortunate for her own decision to follow Lu Changsheng. Otherwise, even with Su Rian's exceptional talents and the ancient beast taming charm, the reconstruction of her own body would be no easy task, requiring centuries of waiting. Even after reconstructing a body, having a body sculpted from a 4th rank spiritual embryo would be unheard of. With this spiritual embryo as a body, not only could she return to her peak in the shortest time possible, but she could also have the chance to further advance on the great Tao, eyeing the realm that seems just a step away, yet as vast as a chasm. Hong Lian thanks the young master. Hong Lian, shining bright as a gem, looked at Lu Changsheng with her flawless eyes and gave a deep bow. Although she had lowered her posture before Lu Changsheng for decades, she had never bowed with such reverence. In this moment, she truly recognized Lu Changsheng. The true spirit tree king, the dragon emperor body, the twin top-level spiritual bodies, the great Tao golden core, the heaven and earth spiritual embryo, all these made her believe that Lu Changsheng was a reincarnation of a true immortal. Such a being, willing to treat her sincerely, what does it matter if she is but a maidservant? Moreover, it is only because Lu Changsheng has not yet grown up that I have this opportunity. Once he grows up, such an opportunity would certainly not be my turn. It seems you are quite pleased with this body. Lu Changsheng spoke with a laugh, very satisfied with Hong Lian's current attitude. Knowing that he had provided the spiritual embryo of heaven and earth to the other party as a body, he guessed that she was probably mentally filling in the blanks. Sir has granted such a heavenly and earthly spiritual embryo to Hong Lian for body sculpting, for which I cannot repay. In the future, I will follow the Sir's orders. Hong Lian directly established a great Tao oath. She knew that Lu Changsheng had given her such a benefit for a reason. This intention, she also had a rough idea. But asking her to pledge her body in return, to be a slave or maid, still felt a bit strange. What if Lu Changxing didn't have this idea? What if he simply needed her to hold down the fort for the family, or to hire a mentor for his children? Heh heh, Hong Lian, you are taking your words too seriously. Since you have chosen to follow me, naturally, I will not treat you unfairly. In the future, just treat Bai Lake Mountain as your own home. When you return to your peak, if you wish to investigate the matters of the past in Northern Desolate Cultivation Realm, I can also help you. Lu Changxing, in his green robe, his face handsome, spoke with a smile. Hong Lian had confided to him about her fall, so he didn't mind offering her another promise. Thank you, sir. Hong Lian, with her incomparably beautiful appearance and noble temperament, inspired a sense of self-deprecation and daring not to defile. But at this moment, she was bowing like a maid, performing a graceful courtesy. This spiritual embryo has not yet conceived a conscious soul. You can reside in it with your soul, allowing the spiritual embryo to grow according to your wishes. Once the spiritual embryo has grown and is fixed in form, you can take the soul fusion resurrection elixir and fuse soul with life. Lu Changxing handed over the soul fusion resurrection elixir from his storage ring to Hong Lian. At the moment, Hong Lian's condition was very poor, merely a remnant soul, unable to refine the spiritual embryo. This soul fusion resurrection elixir could help her soul perfectly combine with the spiritual embryo, unifying spirit and flesh, and also nurture her soul. Many thanks, sir. Hong Lian received the soul fusion resurrection elixir, looking at the peachwood spirit womb in front of her with a somewhat dreamy and bewildered expression. Feeling that all of this came too simply, too unrealistically, she bowed toward Lu Changxing again, her soul slowly winding around the peachwood spirit womb. Through the 9 blossoming peach flowers, her soul gradually seeped in, making contact with the embryo inside. Buzz, as Hong Lian's soul entered the spiritual embryo, she immediately felt a placenta with an exceedingly pure consciousness inside. As Lu Changxing had said, this baby within the placenta had yet no consciousness or soul. Only pure flesh and blood, a heart, thump 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 beating, surging with an astonishingly powerful qi. Without hesitation, Hong Lian's soul resided in the placenta. Boom! In an instant, a pure, rich, vast and boundless life force engulfed her soul. Her whole being was like an infant in a womb, bathed in warmth and nourishment, immensely comfortable. Having been a remnant soul all these years, Hong Lian had always relied on the ancient beast taming charm to maintain her state and stabilize her form. But now, this spiritual embryo not only had the effect of stabilizing her form but also nurtured her soul. Hong Lian felt that if she were to reside in the spiritual embryo for hundreds or thousands of years, it might be possible for her soul to recover. Sarch ** the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Sir, I need some time to let the spiritual embryo take shape. Hong Lian, exhilarated, transmitted her thoughts to Lu Changxing. No rush, you slowly fuse. When the spiritual embryo is formed, let Mount Sumer notify me. Lu Changxing knew that this process of formation would take years, and so he was not in a hurry. Once the spiritual embryo was resided in by Hong Lian, the withered tree with 9 translucent, jade-like peach flowers diffused a rich fragrance, akin to a heavenly spirit medicine. Once a heavenly and earthly spirit object is resided by a soul and tainted by other auras, it cannot continue to grow, and a spiritual mechanism would emerge. These spiritual mechanisms were very pure and dense, providing significant help to the growth of spiritual medicine. Lu Changxing immediately moved the peachwood spirit womb next to the medicine garden, looking forward to the day when Hong Lian would emerge. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1141. Lu Changxing looked at the peachwood spirit womb before him and then at the ancient beast taming charm in his hand, when he suddenly realized a problem. This ancient beast taming charm, he couldn't use it. Now, Hong Lian, who was in charge of the charm, needed to merge with the spirit womb. What should he do about the Blackwater Jiaolongdao troops, green jade Luan bird, cold blue dark turtle, and iron-eating beast within the charm. Hong Lian, what should I do if I want to use this ancient beast taming charm in the future? Lu Changxing asked the Peachwood spirit womb. Creatures like the green jade luan bird, cold blue dark turtle, and iron-eating beast were alright as they could be kept in the charm for a long time. But the Blackwater Jiaolong Dao troops needed regular feeding, with Bai Ling casting the Blackwater Dragon spell, refining them through Black Dragon power. Young Master, Lu Qinsha practices a beast technique that can activate this ancient beast taming charm. Young Master, if you want to release the Dao soldiers and spiritual beasts from the charm, you can let Qinsha do it. Hong Lian's light and pleasant voice came from the spirit womb. Beast technique? Lu Changxing was somewhat surprised upon hearing this. He had just learned that one could use this ancient beast taming charm by cultivating the beast technique. If that was the case, by transforming his mana into a beast technique through the Yin-Yang creation classic, could he not also use the ancient beast taming charm? It's worth a try. Lu Changxing pondered in his mind. The only problem, as a profound mystery-level technique, the beast technique had a significant threshold. Even with his current talent and vision, comprehending this technique to fluidly transform mana into the beast technique would take considerable time. Alright, you rest and nourish the embryo. Lu Changxing said to Hong Lian and walked out of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Sir, the novel _fire. Et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Planning to have his son, Lu Qinsha, come over and try activating the ancient beast taming charm. My husband. At this moment, Lu Miaoyun saw Lu Changxing and informed him that Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong had returned. Oh. Have them come see me. Upon hearing this, Lu Changxing immediately responded. A short while later, a man of around 30, with heroic and authoritative features, a tall and upright build, dressed in a green robe, and a woman of 28 or 29, fairly beautiful with a hint of heroic spirit, entered the hall. Pleased to see you, father, aunt. Lu Qingsong and Lu Rui, looking at Lu Changxing sitting at the principal seat in his green robe, exceptionally handsome, gave their respects with clasped hands. Not knowing if it was an illusion, they unconsciously felt that their father seemed even more detached than before. Even though he was right in front of them, he felt very distant. You should know why I asked you to come back, right? Lu Changxing habitually leaned against the back of his chair, playing with the ancient beast taming charm with his slender jade-like palms. Father, are you referring to the matter about the business association? Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong exchanged glances and respectfully spoke. Although their father was usually very mild-mannered and never showed any rage, being in a high position and living a privileged life, he still possessed an undeniable authority. Inquiring about important matters in such a calm and gentle tone still made Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong a bit nervous. The family business has already reached its bottleneck. Now that Pingan, Qingxian, Rui, and Wang Shu have all achieved foundation establishment, in my view, we can also establish a business association to expand our family business. This time I called you over to hear your thoughts and if you have a rough draft for the bylaws. Lu Changxing, playing with the ancient beast taming charm in one hand and lightly tapping on the armrest of his chair with another, said with a smile. After exchanging glances, Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong spoke up. Father, about the business association, Qingsong and I have a basic understanding from these years. If our family were to establish a business association, the main advantages would be our puppet business, as well as advanced talismans and elixir medicines. But relying solely on puppets, talismans, and elixir medicines to expand the business and support the association might be somewhat difficult, so the main profits still need to be focused on the trade teams. Lu Rui spoke crisply in this manner. Although Blue Lake Mountain Lu family had a prominent reputation in the Qingyun region, this reputation didn't necessarily translate into product sales. Even though the cost-effectiveness of Lu family's puppets was fairly good, competing and surviving in the great marketplaces still posed certain challenges. Furthermore, when expanding the business, the family's production lines would also need to expand, requiring more raw materials and manpower. These things couldn't be achieved overnight and required a cyclic and gradual process. Thus, faced with such circumstances, Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong thought like most forces. By forming trade teams, planning trade routes, and engaging in transactions with smaller families along the way, they would establish the reputation and good standing of the family. In the process, by buying low and selling high or through simple collaborations with some small families, they could earn spirit stones. This was also a common operating model for many business associations in their early stages. After all, with the vast cultivation world, many clan cultivators might never travel far in their whole lives. With no marketplaces nearby, their only option would be to passively accept the high prices set by far-traveling trade teams. Trade teams, Lu Changxing nodded slightly, acknowledging the practice in the cultivation world. Ordinarily, traveling to the various giant marketplaces, or the Immortal City, one would see many teams of beasts forming trade groups. They earned their spirit stones by traveling all over, buying low and selling high, or finding bargains. Once they had sufficient capital, they would purchase stores in the great marketplaces or Immortal City and establish a business association. The only problem is, our Blue Lake Mountain has risen too quickly and is envied by many family forces. If we establish a business association and set up trade teams to start trading, there might be significant obstacles. At this moment, Lu Qingsong spoke gravely. Although the name of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family was quite significant, its meteoric rise in just a few decades made many family forces apprehensive. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1142. These family forces will definitely not say anything overtly, maintaining harmony, as everyone earns money together. But in secret, they can't wait for Lake Mountain to die off, and will not sit idly by as it continues to develop, surely causing trouble behind the scenes. Especially the other commerce chambers in the Qingyan region. Not to mention, led by Jinlong Ridge Jin family, the Dragon Light Commerce Chamber would definitely not want to see a commerce chamber established on their own. Once the family's trading caravan starts operating, they will continuously target and even disguise as robber cultivators to harass. So facing this problem, what do you plan to do? Lu Changxing asked with a smile. He was naturally aware of this issue. Initially, he did not allow the family to expand the business, considering this very reason, thinking that earning this piece of money was too dangerous. But times change. Now his children have grown up and are capable of standing on their own. Establishing a commerce chamber can provide more opportunities for the children to gain experience. And from chi refinement to foundation establishment, he as a father could still arrange things properly. After foundation establishment, it would be up to the children to strive hard. Of course, another reason is that as the children's cultivation levels enhance and the population increases, family expenses also become somewhat unsustainable, necessitating an increase in income. Of course we fight. This is an issue every caravan will encounter. We can only rely on actual strength to forge a path and establish a renowned name for our family's commerce chamber. SAR the Oval Fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Rui's eyes gleamed with a heroic spirit as she spoke coldly. Although at the foundation establishment stage, most family forces are concerned about face and won't act too egregiously. But when it comes to interests, face counts for nothing, strength is what talks. As long as we make it through the first trading journey with solid strength, these forces will gradually recognize us. The main dangers afterwards are demon beasts, robber cultivators, and other unexpected situations. Such conflicts are inevitable, but along the way, we can also gradually build good relations with other family forces for mutual benefits. Lu Qingsong said. Haha. Lu Changxing, observing his daughter brimming with fighter spirit, felt somewhat amused. Among the children in the home, this daughter has the weakest combat prowess. Certainly, relying on Lu Rui to lead the team would not work. However, he was very satisfied with his daughter's spirit and courage. Okay, since it's inevitable, let's proceed this way. Qingsong, you can also let go of the White Tiger Mountain family affairs appropriately, focus mainly on foundation establishment, and strive to break through sooner, so your mother and I don't need to worry. Lu Changxing glanced at his son's cultivation status and said, "Thank you for your concern, father. I will certainly strive to advance to foundation establishment as soon as possible." Lu Qingsong responded with a fist salute. "Father, what will our family commerce chamber be called?" At this moment, Lu Rui asked Lu Changxing. Let's call it the Pingan Commerce Chamber." Lu Changxing answered, stroking his chin. In his view, the meaning of Pingan, peace, is good, echoing the name of his eldest son Pingan. His first spiritual talisman shop was called Peace Talisman Hall, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be called the Pingan Commerce Chamber. Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong twitched their lips upon hearing the name. They felt that their father really favored this name. Their elder brother's name was Lu Pingan, and now the Commerce Chamber would also be named after this concept. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1143, Dad, this name for the Commerce Association has been used by too many people. Lu Qingsong spoke in a low voice. The cultivation world is so vast, and names like Pingan are very common. Especially some smaller commerce associations, they like to use such names, one for good implications, and also because it's low-key. After all, a name that's too high profile can lead to dissatisfaction from others if one's virtue does not match one's station. In that case, let's call it Rui Commerce Association, Wheel Commerce Association, Great Love Commerce Association, Much Fortune Commerce Association, never mind, let's call it Evergreen Commerce Association. After thinking of several names, Lu Changxing finally confirmed the name of the Commerce Association. After Lu Rui and Lu Qingsong retired, Lu Miaoyun softly inquired, "Husband, isn't this trade mission too dangerous for Pingan?" She knew that Lu Pingan was not bad in combat, but she was not very clear about the specifics. "Don't worry, with Pingan and the 9 Netherhound, it's enough," Lu Changxing said with a light chuckle. Their son Lu Pingan had cultivated the 100 Refinements treasure body art to the peak of the 7th layer. He was just one step away from breaking through to the 8th layer. And the 9 Netherhound, after being fed a bottle of Beast Origin Elixir, had grown to the late stage of the 2nd rank. Under such circumstances, unless a false core Immortal personally made a move, they definitely could not match Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhound. If any false core Immortal dared to be so shameless, then he himself would certainly pay them a visit. Lu Miaoyun, hearing her husband say this, also felt reassured and stopped worrying. Subsequently, Lu Changxing went out of the main hall to find his son Lu Qinsha. This son was 26 years old, and due to investing a lot of time and energy in insect control, his cultivation was still at the 6th level of energy refinement. Father. Lu Qinsha, inheriting the appearance and looks from Lu Changxing and Su Ruyan, had a handsome face with more defined, rugged features. However, due to his contracted spiritual beast being the 1,000-legged centipede, his skin was very white, giving off a somewhat pale and sickly aura. "Qinsha, try to activate this ancient charm with your spiritual power." Lu Changxing handed over the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Qinsha. "Yes, father." Lu Qinsha, not knowing his father's intentions, received the ancient beast taming charm with both hands. He didn't understand why, but as he looked at the charm in his hand, which appeared both like jade and not jade, like stone and not stone, carved with the patterns of magical beasts, he inexplicably felt a connection, and even his cultivation technique, beast technique, seemed to become more active. Without overthinking it, he initiated the beast technique, channeling spiritual power into the ancient beast taming charm. The ancient beast taming charm radiated a brilliance, and Lu Qinsha saw a world with mountains, plants, rivers. Within the river swam several utterly dark flood dragons and dragon fish. Perched on a large tree was a stunningly beautiful green jade luan bird. Nearby lay a cold blue mysterious turtle radiating a chilling aura, and a black and white bear-like creature that looked quite endearing. Isn't that Sister Wangsha's little ice, roll, and the green jade Luan bird? Lu Qinsha immediately recognized the cold blue mysterious turtle, the iron-eating beast, and the green jade Luan bird. Although the green jade Luan bird was a gift from Lu Changxing to Lu Miaoyan, since Lu Miaoyan was practicing the heavenly longevity technique and could not travel, the Luan bird was always used as a mount by Lu Wangshu. And the iron-eating beast, originally a pet of Lu Lingyi, was also often played with by Lu Wangshu. It really works. Lu Changxing, seeing the ancient charm emanating colored brilliance in his son's hand, slightly nodded. He asked aloud, "Did you see anything from it?" Replying to father, son saw many similar shaped dragon fish and flood dragons, and also Sister Wangsha's green jade Luan bird, little ice, and roll. Lu Qinsha still did not understand what his father wanted him to do. "Try to release one of the flood dragons for me to see," Lu Changxing said. Whoosh! Instantly, a black-colored large water serpent appeared, about 10 feet long with black scales covering its body, sporting 2 mustaches. It was a blackwater dragon Dao troop cultivated by Lu Changxing. However, these Dao troops were currently at the highest level of the first grade top tier. None had yet advanced to the second grade. "Take it back in," Lu Changxing continued. Hearing this, Lu Qinsha faithfully operated the ancient charm and retracted the blackwater dragon fish back into the charm. "Try putting these spirit stones into the charm to convert them into energy." Lu Changxing let his son try out various capabilities of the charm. After confirming that all these functionalities were working properly, he nodded and said, "Keep this ancient charm with you for now." Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If your sister Wangshu asks you for a spiritual beast, you give it to her. Then, every half-month, your auntie Bai Ling needs your help to release these dragon snakes and dragon fish for a while. Lu Changxing instructed. Yes. Lu Qinsha, though still confused, nodded obediently. Moreover, he could feel that having this ancient charm with him could somewhat increase the speed of his cultivation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know and report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1144. Insect control is, after all, a minor path. It can only serve as a means. If you become too engrossed and it delays your cultivation, then you have put the cart before the horse, and the loss outweighs the gain. Remember, cultivation level and spiritual practice are the foundation. Lu Changxing continued to speak to his son Lu Qinsha. The other possessed a 5th grade spiritual root, and his talent was considered quite good. Although he encountered some setbacks at the early stages of cultivating the beast technique, and wasted some time, with the current benefits provided by the Lu family, plus the cultivation resources given privately by his mother, he should have earnestly cultivated and already achieved a breakthrough to the 7th level energy refinement by now. Thank you for your concern, father. Your son understands. Lu Qinsha felt a pang in his heart, aware that he was indeed lagging behind in terms of the progress of his cultivation level. As long as you're aware of it yourself, that's enough. Lu Changxing patted his son on the shoulder and said no more. His hints were not just because of the delay in cultivation, but also because the current value of his son's spiritual insect rearing was mediocre, with limited returns in the later stages. If Lu Qinsha were a loose cultivator, it would naturally be okay to devote more time and energy to this aspect. But as a disciple of the Lu family, there is no need to engage in too much strife during the Qi refinement realm, and spending too much time and energy on this would indeed be somewhat wasteful. Moreover, the Purple Shadow Secret Realm will open in just over 6 years, and given Qinsha's situation, you should consider exploring it then. At this moment, Lu Changxing thought of the Purple Shadow Secret Realm that opened every 30 years. He felt that it would be a good opportunity for his son to enter and temper himself. After handing the ancient beast taming charm to Lu Qinsha, Lu Changxing couldn't help thinking of its former owner, his son's mother, Su Ruyan. Although this woman had obtained the heavenly demon phoenix from him and condensed the heavenly beast Tao foundation, without the guidance and help of a personal mentor, her growth in recent years had been steady but ordinary. Her growth rate was extraordinary, but not astonishing. If I hadn't taken the ancient beast taming charm from her, perhaps her development now would be even better? Lu Changxing stroked his chin, mulling it over. There has always been talk of fate and fortune in the cultivation world. Among those theories is the idea that if someone destined for great fortune experiences too many setbacks and defeats, it may lead to the loss of their destined fortune from the universe. Su Ruyan, in Lu Changsheng's view, was definitively one with great fortune and should have progressed boldly and rapidly. But in recent years, her development has been relatively ordinary. Fate and fortune, Lu Changxing chuckled lightly, not paying it much mind. He returned to Mount Sumera Cave Heaven, began to stabilize his condition, and prepared to address Ling Zixio's dragon roar physique problem. At Baiyun Peak, in Mingyue residence. This profound origin bead has actually improved so much. In the cultivation chamber, Lu Wangshu, after successfully refining the profound origin bead, revealed a face of delight and surprise, bright and flawless. She knew the profound origin bead her father gave her was no trivial item. But she had never imagined it would be so amazingly effective. Not only was her mana spiritual pressure significantly increased, but this profound origin bead also acted like a second dantian, storing nearly 10 times her mana. With this, it's as if I have endless mana, and I can freely perform the drawing talisman in the void technique. Lu Wangshu was thrilled, her clear and bright eyes revealed a sly glint. Shortly after, she sought out her brother, Lu Lingxiao. Lu Wangshu, what are you here for? Lu Lingxiao's features were not as elegantly handsome as Lu Changsheng's. His face was rugged with well-defined angles and dignified. His unusual golden eyes, concealed by a magic artifact from Lu Changxing, were still exceptionally bright, eye-catching like a torch. He did not show much pleasure at the sight of his sister. Lu Lingxiao, are you itching for a fight again? Lu Wangshu gave her brother a sidelong glance and spoke. Sir, the Novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. You've always wanted to challenge me. Now that your sister has condensed a Supreme Tao Foundation, I'll let you witness it. So that you don't neglect your cultivation in your rush to achieve foundation establishment. Dressed in a pale pink and white gown, Lu Wangshu stood with her hands behind her back, speaking to her brother. Supreme Tao Foundation? Lu Lingxiao's eyes narrowed slightly. He might not like this sister, but there was no question about her talent and comprehension. She was not only proficient in the talisman path but also knowledgeable in alchemy, puppets, and music mastery. Although her cultivation level was slow, he knew it was because their father wanted her to lay a solid foundation. Do you want to see for yourself? Lu Wangshu asked with a slight tilt of her exquisitely shaped chin. Yes. Lu Lingxiao nodded. Although he understood through his mentor's explanations that there were bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect foundation bases, hearing that his sister had condensed a Supreme Tao Foundation made him want to witness it for himself. Lu Lingxiao never considered himself inferior to anyone, especially not the sister in front of him. Lu Wangshu crossed her arms, glanced sideways, and said, Is that your attitude? Lu Lingxiao's mouth twitched, and he bowed politely. Please enlighten me, sister. Your tone and attitude are not right, try again. Lu Wangshu demanded. Lu Wangshu, don't take a mile when given an inch. The Tao Foundation consists of 4 levels, bedrock shatter, with flaw, without flaw, and perfect. At most, you've only condensed a perfect foundation base. When it's time for me to assault foundation establishment, it will surely be a perfect foundation base as well, and it's not yet determined who will win or lose. Lu Lingxiao stood tall, with an impressive aura, speaking proudly. He was already at the 9th level of energy refinement, his progress step by step, just to condense a perfect foundation base. Moreover, due to his physique, his mana foundation and techniques were far superior to ordinary people, so he was confident that after establishing his foundation, he would not be weaker than his sister. Of course, if she cheated by relying on talismans, that didn't count. Since you are aware of the different levels of the Tao foundation, you must know what to expect from a perfect foundation base, right? Lu Wangshu did not mind her brother's attitude and spoke with a smile. Of course I know. Lu Lingxiao nodded. Since that's the case, your sister will let you truly witness it today. Lu Wangshu said with a smile. When the corners of her mouth lifted slightly, revealing pearly white teeth, it made her delicate face playful and lovely. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1145. Immediately, the two of them arrived at the back mountain of Baiyun Peak. This place has a black-brown stone slab training ground for Lu family disciples in the energy refinement late stage to cultivate techniques, or for sparring. Sister Wangshu, Lingxiao. Several Lu family disciples spotted them on the back mountain and shouted out. CTH Nell Fire. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Currently, many Lu family disciples are on outside expeditions or handling family affairs. Among those still training at home, Lu Wangshu is considered older. Furthermore, given Lu Wangshu's exceptional talent and the affection showered upon her by Lu Changsheng, Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaoyun, and Chu Zhenzhen at Bai Lake Mountain, most Lu family disciples still hold quite some respect for this older sister. Qing Yan, Xingchen. Lu Wangshu greeted them with a smile, her expression bright and generous, like a spring breeze. Lu Lingxiao merely nodded slightly. The two approached a stone wall, where Lu Wangshu's beautiful eyes looked clear and deep. She said smilingly, Lingxiao, watch closely. After speaking, she lightly lifted her jade hand, and magic flowed through her pale, slender fingers, gleaming with a lustrous glow. Then, like a dragon and phoenix in awe, her movement fluttered through the void, and soon, a talisman shimmering with golden light took shape. Buzz! Just as the talisman formed, it exuded an incredible and overwhelming magic aura. Drawing talisman in the void. Seeing this technique, Lu Lingxiao's eyes slightly narrowed. However, he knew that his sister cultivated the talisman path, a very rare talisman cultivator, and was not shocked by such a technique, simply continuing to watch Lu Wangshu. Buzz, 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 magic power surged around Lu Wangshu, causing her pink-white dress to flutter and dance without wind. The finished talisman instantly split into 3, 3 into 9, 9 into 36. All these talismans emanated an extraordinary magic aura, circulating around Lu Wangshu, making her appear pure and holy, full of grace. This. Lu Lingxiao was instantly startled. His vivid eyes gleamed with a golden luster, staring at the talisman before him. He had cultivated the pupil skill, and could tell that his sister was not using an illusion technique to deceive him. She had truly conjured 36 second-rank talismans in a breath. Even with a perfect foundation base, with mana more robust than ordinary people, how could she deploy so many talismans in just a moment? That's the equivalent of a common foundation establishment cultivator casting 36 techniques continuously. Not to mention whether the meridians and dantian could withstand it, mustn't her mana be nearly depleted? But his sister seemed as if nothing had happened. However, seeing Lu Lingxiao's reaction, she didn't continue pretending. Otherwise, it would really be too demoralizing for this younger brother. Although there was a bit of showing off and playing around in her mind, she was also using this way to motivate him. This younger brother had exceptional talent and a strong character, always thinking about challenging his elder sister. If that's the case, she would present him with a challenge. Indeed, Sister Wangshu, the trio was indeed shocked by Lu Wangshu's recent maneuvers. Lu Lingxiao, you weren't too disheartened, were you? At this moment, Lu Wangshu came up to Lu Lingxiao and patted his shoulder, speaking out. Lu Wangshu, don't think I don't know, you must have relied on some external item to achieve this. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1146, Lu Lingxiao snorted coldly. Although he was young, he was not foolish. He naturally guessed that the methods his sister had just used were problematic, certainly not relying on any Supreme Dao foundation. Moreover, this sister's character, suddenly seeking him out and showboating like this, was certainly questionable. Still, despite saying such, a sensation of pressing pressure surged in his heart. He knew that even if he condensed a perfect foundation base, it would be difficult to surpass her. Sigh, is it really that hard to admit that sister is stronger? Just behave a little better and sister might give you some tips. Sar the Novelier. N.E.T. website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Wangshu did not care about Lu Lingxiao's attitude. If he easily submitted, she would find it uninteresting. Humph, at the same realm, I will definitely not be weaker than you. Lu Lingxiao declared, preparing to seek his master's advice. Goose goose goose, seeing him like this, Lu Wangshu burst into unreserved laughter. Then she said to the other younger siblings, Yan Yan, Xingchen, Yun Fei, don't spread the word about what just happened. If their father found out she came to bully Lu Lingxiao again, he would surely scold her. Sister Wangshu, rest assured. The three nodded in response. White Tiger Mountain. In a valley. Boom boom boom. A tall, sturdy young man, his body gleaming with a precious light, was barehandedly fighting a fierce beast that was gigantic, with a wolf-like head and a scarlet vertical scar on its brow. The strikes from both the man and the beast were extremely fierce, clashing continuously with a clanging resonance, stirring up wind and thunder, echoing throughout the valley. If anyone witnessed this scene, they would be incredibly astonished. After all, demon beasts naturally possessed powerful physical bodies. Ordinary cultivators would never engage them in close combat, let alone barehanded. Especially as the young man fought the demon beast, stirring up dust and wind thunder, not falling short, exchanging blows that shattered numerous giant stones in the valley. Big Pot, Ching Song has something for you. At that moment, a 16 or 17-year-old girl, cute-looking with buns in her hair and riding wind-fire wheels appeared. She cupped her hands to her mouth, shouting to the young man who was fighting the fierce beast. Hearing this noise, Lu Pingan and the 9 Netherhounds stopped and responded to his sister, Lu Lingyi, okay, coming. Moments later, after changing into a black robe, Lu Pingan joined his not-yet shoulder-high sister and asked, Xiaohe, what does Qing Song need? I have no clue. Lu Lingyi shook her little head, then said to Lu Pingan, you'll know once you go, Big Pot. I'm going to find Xiaohe to play. Saying that, she rode the windfire wheels to the massive 9 Netherhound, clenched her fists, and crisply shouted, come on, Xiaohe. The 9 Netherhound, looking at the girl before him with pupils glowing dark red, revealed a hint of helplessness. It thought that having reached this stage, it would no longer need to babysit. But then Lu Lingyi came to White Tiger Mountain, often saw it practicing with Lu Pingan, and wanted to emulate them by sparring with it. Facing Lu Pingan, it could strike at will. And the two had been training together since childhood, forming a great understanding. But facing Lu Lingyi, if it applied a bit too much force with its claws, it would turn the girl into a mush. This process was infinitely more difficult than sparring with Lu Pingan. Mountain's shaking fist. The girl shouted excitedly, throwing a punch at the 9 Netherhound. Although she knew only one punch, that punch was already full of momentum. As her fist shot forth, massive energy surged, carrying an unstoppable, indestructible force. Thud. The 9 Netherhound raised its paw, very reluctantly, but put on a fierce appearance to accompany Lu Lingyi in her practice. Company, caravan. In the hall, Lu Pingan listened to his younger siblings discuss the caravan matter, nodding in response, okay, arrange these matters properly, set a time, and inform me. He had no particular thoughts or opinions about the caravan matter. This business trip might require several years. He needed to return home in advance to visit his mother and talk to Su Jior. We just wanted to inform you in advance, brother. It will take some time to organize and form the company. If you have any opinions or needs, brother, we can arrange and prepare conveniently. Lu Qingsong spoke up. Organizing the caravan not only required planning the trade route and preparing manpower but also advanced preparation of goods, purchasing beasts of burden, and storage boxes. The space in a normal storage bag was limited, and due to volume and weight constraints, using it for trading was very troublesome. The storage box, compared to the storage bag, not only had a capacity dozens of times larger but could also be outfitted with numerous prohibitions. Even if the storage box was robbed, breaking the prohibitions on it to steal the goods would be difficult, and their family could use the box's identifying mark to retrieve the merchandise. I have no particular opinions or needs, just arrange as you see fit. Lu Pingon said with a smile. Although he oversaw White Tiger Mountain, he had never interfered with family affairs for many years and had no interest in them. Okay. Lu Qingsong nodded, understanding his elder brother's temperament. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Changxing Hall. Who? Lu Changxing opened his eyes and breathed out a long breath of turbid energy, finally recovering from the loss incurred by condensing the Tai Dao seed. However, seeing his dwindling supply of high-quality spirit stones, he sighed lightly. Continuing to cultivate like this, he would deplete all the high-quality spirit stones he had accumulated over the years. He rose and walked out of his cave mansion, glanced at Ling Zixio's cave mansion, and since she was not in Changxing Hall, he headed to the Lu family mansion. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know your report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1147, Husband. Master. Father, Daddy. When Lu Changxing had just arrived at the Lu family mansion, he was greeted by these affectionate calls. It must be said, the feeling was very pleasant. Each time he returned home, tired from cultivation, it was a moment of relaxation and comfort. Daddy, Daddy, I've reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. At this moment, a cute little girl with an exquisite appearance, akin to a porcelain doll, saw Lu Changxing and affectionately called out. So fast, little Qier, you're truly marvelous. Lu Changxing looked at his daughter with a face full of praise and said with a smile. Although this daughter had a 4th-grade spiritual root, due to her mother, Lu Miaohuan's reason, not only was her body strong, but her meridians and dantian were also extraordinary. Thus, during the medicinal baths, the effects were excellent, and now at the age of 11, she had already reached the 3rd level of Qi refinement. This made Lu Changxing feel emotional. In his own days, he didn't have such conditions. Thinking back on his own past, when there was no path for cultivation, he could only marry into the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, and it had taken almost a year just to channel qi into his body. His hardships and pains could truly make the listeners sad and the hearers cry. Hee, my younger brother has also reached the 3rd level of qi refinement, Lu Qingxi said, giggling, chattering non-stop as she shared amusing stories with Lu Changxing. Her son, Lu Qingxian, also came forward to greet Lu Changxing. Dressed in brocade robes and jade boots, his slightly naive face perfectly inherited the features from Lu Changxing and Lu Miaoge, handsome and tender, showing the hints of his illustrious future. Unlike his lively and boisterous sister, his personality was quiet and gentle. His bright eyes looked at his father and sister in front of him, and he would only speak up when Lu Changxing asked him something or when he was interested in something. Dad, I heard Brother Xingyang say that our family is setting up a trade association. At this moment, Lu Qingxian voiced his inquiry. Correct, what's the matter? Sar the Novel Fire. And a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Changxing did not expect his son to be concerned about this, he said with a smile. I heard from Grandpa before, our family has always been feared by many other family forces. Once our family business expands beyond by Lake Mountain, it's easy to be targeted. Now that we are establishing a trade association, if mom and dad have to stay at home, only brother Pingan and brother Qing Xian will manage it. But I heard from outsiders that our family is now considered a false core family, and when the time comes, other false core families might act against our trade association. Can just brother Pingan and brother Qing Xian be enough to handle it? Lu Qingxian, with his clear eyebrows and high nose, red lips, and white teeth, asked. Hearing his son's words, Lu Changxing raised his eyebrows slightly, his tone gentle. In disputes between forces, negotiation is the main approach when it escalates. They won't make things utterly hostile. These family forces will at most probe and suppress us, making our business unsustainable and forcing us to retreat. However, these families would only deploy cultivators up to the late stage of foundation establishment. Currently, your eldest brother's strength is fully capable of handling and resolving these issues. Lu Changxing explained to his son. Regarding the true foundation of the family, only people like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, and Lu Miaoyun were aware. Thus, Lu Qingxian was not fully informed of the true strength of the family and Lu Pingan's real combat power. Wow, big brother is that powerful? Lu Qingqi, with her tiny face filled with surprise and mouth slightly agape, heard this. Although they were young, they had been taught the basics of cultivation since their enlightenment at 6 in the Lu Family Academy. They understood what the concept of a foundation establishment late stage meant. Yes, your big brother has an exceptional talent in body refinement and is also very diligent in his daily cultivation. Lu Changxing gently rubbed his daughter's elegantly styled little head, laughing as he spoke. If big brother goes to sit in the trade association, what about White Tiger Mountain? Lu Qingxian asked curiously. In his understanding, a foundation establishment cultivator must sit in the family spirit land to handle unexpected situations. Your sister Rui recently broke through to foundation establishment and can sit in White Tiger Mountain. However, your brother Yun and brother Xingqian are also preparing for foundation establishment. If they break through, they could also go to White Tiger Mountain. Lu Changxing faces his son's confusion and speaks directly. That makes sense. Lu Qingxian nodded thoughtfully. He thought to himself that it was indeed as he suspected, there might be other foundation establishment cultivators at home. If you're interested in this area, you can ask your brother Yun and brother Xingyang more often. Lu Changxing said with a smile. Although children with good talents generally don't take the position of family head, if his son has an interest, he would be happy. And this son indeed had some talent and aptitude in management. Okay. Lu Qingxian nodded in response. Dad, Grandpa's health is getting worse. I plan to go stay in Qingzhou Mountain for a while to accompany Grandpa more. My brother and sister have also told us to visit Grandpa more often. Lu Qingxian continued lightly, with his lips slightly pursed. These years, Lu Miaoge often brought him to Qingzhou Mountain to visit Grandpa Lu Yuanding. And Lu Yuanding also loved him very much as a grandson, and they were very close. Many issues among family forces had been explained to him by Grandpa Lu Yuanding. Okay, when the time comes, Dad will take you there. Lu Changxing sighed internally, knowing that his father-in-law was likely to pass away in the next few years. Daddy, I will also go to visit Grandpa then. Lu Qingqi, hearing this, also seemed a bit downcast. They all knew that people die, and their grandfather didn't have much time left. After chatting with his wives and children for a moment, Lu Changxing visited his son Lu Lingxiao's residence. Seeing his son talking with his wife Ling Zixiao. Zixiao, shower, what are you talking about? Lu Changxing approached with a cheerful smile. Xiao was asking me about how to cast hundreds of second-rank talismans after just breaking through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop-up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know each report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1148, Ling Zixiao, dignified and elegant, looked at Lu Changsheng and spoke irritably. Although her son didn't specifically name Lu Wangshu, she didn't need to think twice to realize what was going on. After all, she was well aware of the constant squabbles between her children and Lu Wangshu. She didn't necessarily see sibling fights as an issue. But just watching her son constantly bullied by Lu Wangshu, stubbornly gritting his teeth without ever seeking help from his father Lu Changsheng, seeking some treasures, stubbornly wanting to compete with Lu Wangshu, made her feel frustrated. That girl is clever and strange, daily earning Lu Changsheng's affection, with unknown numbers of treasures in her hand. Her own son is no match. Also looking at her son's stubbornness, she thought of her daughter, Lu Lingyi. Compared to her son's resoluteness, her daughter Lu Lingyi was completely naive, deceived by Lu Wangshu and even helping count the money. Furthermore, her daughter was tricked repeatedly without learning her lesson, still affectionately addressing Lu Wangshu as elder sister, following her around like a shadow, which infuriates her for not being able to meet her expectations. Inexplicably, she, wise all her life, couldn't understand how she ended up having such a pair of children, inheriting none of the cleverness. Cough cough. Lu Changsheng, hearing what Ling Zixiao said, immediately understood the situation. He gently coughed and said, "Wangshu, that girl is too unreasonable, I'll discipline her later." Humph. Ling Zixiao, hearing this, rolled her eyes, not believing that her husband would truly be willing to discipline their cherished daughter. "My husband, Shao, has some cultivation issues he wants to consult Senior Red Lotus about, but Miaoyan mentioned that the ancient talisman is in Qinsha's hands, yet it seems Senior Red Lotus isn't within the talisman." Ling Zixiao did not dwell on the matter of their children, instead she voiced out her query. "Oh, I forgot to tell you about this." After hearing this, Lu Changsheng slapped his forehead and said. He explained that Red Lotus was inside a dead tree stump in the Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven Medicine Garden. Sun's cultivation doubts can be addressed by heading to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, calling out to Red Lotus by the Peachwood Spirit Womb. "Ah, why is Senior Red Lotus in that dead tree stump?" Ling Zixiao voiced in surprise. She had noticed an additional tree stump in the medicine garden before, but had not paid it much mind. This dead tree stump is named Peachwood Spirit Womb. It is a spiritual embryo of heaven and earth, and Red Lotus plans to use this spiritual embryo as a body. Lu Changsheng didn't conceal this from his wife and spoke directly. Spiritual embryo of heaven and earth. Ling Zixiao suddenly revealed a surprised expression. Now, among his children at home, when it comes to talent, this son in front of him is the foremost. But besides allowing Red Lotus to carefully instruct him, he hasn't given much assistance to his son. Mainly because there's no suitable treasure for him. He wanted to obtain a heavenly spiritual fire, but has only gathered information about a few second-rank heavenly spiritual fires over the years, none of which suited Lu Lingxiao. Therefore, for this trip to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, Lu Changsheng plans to hunt several demon kings. Then, using the demon king's essence blood to concoct a medicinal bath to baptize his son, solidifying his foundation. "Thank you, father." Upon hearing this, Lu Lingxiao immediately bowed. Beside him, Ling Zixiao hearing this, her graceful face also revealed a hint of a smile. It is known that even within the immortal sects, a perfect foundation base is considered a true inheritor, equivalent to a nascent soul seed level existence. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.